Ta-da! So you should talk real quick. Okay, I'm not getting your default. Try now. Yeah, that's what I was trying. I'm gonna ask people how it what do they think of it. Yeah, we're still working on it. I think it's this one. Try again. I don't see the audio ticking for it. It's been so long since I did this, I had to reset up a lot. Why won't it use? Yeah, I know. I can't. Is my audio low? I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys, we're getting it. Is that better? I knew I would have to iron all this out. Oh well. Yeah, I'm trying to get you in there. I'm changing. OBS has 1,000 options. Where, headset. What about now, if my thing moves? Shit. Why so fucking annoying? Excuse me, sorry. How about now?
Is this better?
I
Is this
just.
better?
Yep, yep, yep.
Is this better? I'm not super quiet. If you knew me in person, you'd understand that I'm not quiet.
Neither am I. We're great. We do
Yeah.
a great
Okay.
feedback loop.
Oh, there we go. Look at that. Everybody says we're good to go now.
Yep, I had to choose like 8 different audio devices, and then I saw this one. So it just shows nothing, and then I switch it, and it all of a sudden is, equalizing. Okay, cool.
I'm not yelling. This is how I talk.
Is this a good volume for myself and Devin? Both of the volumes are good?
Yeah, to me, I don't know. See, it's awkward when you ask these questions because I'm waiting for somebody else to answer verbally.
Huh. Into the void.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
Okay,
we're
cool.
good.
Too loud for me?
No,
A lot of people are saying fine. They're saying
yeah,
manure louder? I don't know. Anyway, both are meant good. We're fine.
yeah.
So I had. Oh, I guess I don't really need to introduce you, I don't think, but I will. Devin Vanderhoof of HCR Innovations. I think everybody
That's
who watches knows you or of you from these other shows or whatever else. So, Merry Christmas and Happy upcoming New Year. That's past and coming up soon.
yep.
So, I
Merry Kwanzaa.
yes, all of them. What you're supposed to
Mhm.
do as an Anglo white male is misdo every one of them in a row. Like when you say a French word, like croissant instead of
Yeah,
croissant, you're supposed to
yeah.
murder it. It's your job as a white person to offend everybody by mispronouncing everything.
It's funny. Um,
Respectfully.
right. How was your Christmas? Was it good?
Yeah, yeah. How about yours?
I worked all day.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah. Laura wasn't feeling good and ordered Chinese food and then she cooked dinner like late at night, which was good, but no, I just worked all day.
All right. And then I think we should just go over your new car plans, goals, and everything else.
All
Yeah, I
right.
wanted to say like how is Laura, but I didn't want to bring it up if you don't want to say anything, but people are
Oh
asking
no,
and
it's fine. Well, I mean, I can tell you the story, a little bit of story about Laura. So she was born with, well, we found this out recently, but she was born with this mitral valve problem in her heart, and I was unaware. She was unaware, but she kind of thought that it was going on just because there was a hereditary, like everybody in her family kind of had something going on. So anyway, long story short, she had kidney stones. She got, we brought her to the hospital. She was in a lot of pain. They put her under with anesthesia and got the kidney stones taken care of. And a couple days later, we were standing outside and She was bent down for like, I don't know, 5 seconds. She stood up and then she fell over.
Hmm.
And I caught her and she fell into the wall. And it brought us down this rabbit hole of finding out that she has got a prolapsed mitral valve with severe regurgitation, which the way I understand it is your heart is like a oil pump. If you think about like everybody watching will understand it as if we talk about like an oil pump.
Yeah.
So if you've got down here is like the pressure section or the vacuum section, and then there's a divide, and then up here is the pressure section. And the only way, like, so my this hand here is kind of like gears, right? Um, it's that valve is supposed to open and allow it to build pressure and push through. What's happening is that, and then it's supposed to close. That valve isn't closing. It's just kind of like dancing in the wind.
Ah, none of that is
So
awesome.
yeah, she she blacks out. She he does a whole bunch of yeah, there you go. An enlarged left chamber because of the regurgitation. The valve cords are completely detached. So um basically she doesn't have very good blood flow to like anything. Um she gets lightheaded really easy. She gets really bad chest pains. But we were fortunate enough to be able to get in with a um one of the world-renowned surgeons due to a friend of ours, Forrest Kennedy, making a phone call. He's a customer and a friend, and he does anesthesia, and he was able to get us in with a surgeon who specializes in this that he knew. So that happens. Surgery is scheduled for January 14th. So yeah, she's good for now. Yeah, it can all be done robotically, which is good. Um, and well, there's like a 98% chance that it'll be done robotically. There's always like a small chance that they may have to cut her open, but the surgeon believes that that won't be the case, and she will be fixed robotically, hang out at the hospital for a couple of days, and then come home and be on light duty and for a handful of weeks, probably 4 to 6 weeks, and then she should be feeling like new. So I know that we've been together for a long time, and I've never been around her with her this like down in the dumps, like feeling like crap, you know. So I'm really hopeful that everything goes nice and smooth.
Me too. Obviously, I think everybody is hoping. Uh,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
what is it? What would you call the wizard behind the curtain? Is that her? Well, she's pretty much she answers the phones and does everything. So
yeah. So if it wasn't for her, I would probably just have to hope people could show up and know where I'm at, and then I just work on their stuff. And then like
yes.
I would hope that they would know when to come and get it because I don't really like doing that side of this business at all. Um, I'm pretty good at what I do, and we've got a good team of people. And if it wasn't for her, I don't know if we'd have a team of people at all. I think I'd still be just kind of doing this on the side or something. So no, she's the reason. She's the reason that we are successful. So yeah, if you call and order parts, you should order them from her because she knows what everything costs. I don't. Um, she she schedules everything. She takes care of all of the like quoting and shipping, all that kind of stuff. I'm just me and the two guys in the shop are the ones that just work on the cars. So
Do so. All of that good and bad aside,
yeah,
we will continue on.
yeah. So you're
What
saying you wanted to know about that new car?
That's the first question I have, which is what almost everybody wants to know. And what I'll also say out loud is they were saying that I was a little quiet, some of the people. So I changed something. So let me know. But yeah, new car. So if people don't know, you got rid of the convertible because you couldn't keep it together at 230 miles an hour. Obviously, the You're struggling, like Cletus is struggling to keep windows in his car, and people are like, "Why is your car built so shitty?" And they're like, "No one goes this fast. I'm very sorry." But
Yeah.
yes,
So in the convertible world, there's nobody else to turn to say, "Hey, how do we keep the roof on this thing? How do we keep the windows in this thing?" And the like, because I kind of just like me and everybody else that was involved with that car kind of paved the way for that. As far as I know, it's the fastest convertible on the planet. Um, so what happened was we struggled for a while with body panels trying to eject themselves, not hoods and front ends, but like side windows, windshield, and then a roof. And we were up in Illinois testing before six summer earlier this year, I think in June or July, whatever month it is. And we tested for like a couple days and we were struggling pretty bad with the racetrack. So we never really got it to go down the racetrack like under power the whole way. Then day one of sick week or sick summer started, and we finally got the windows to stay locked in. Like the windows were secured, like they had latches in the windows, right? Well, they stayed in, and then around 1,000 foot, the roof ripped off. So like the canvas of the roof ripped off, not the metal frame, just the canvas like split and tore, right? So we tried to find a new top, and as you could imagine, it's not easy to just find a top and for a 93 convertible Fox body and then put it on and then drive a couple hundred miles. And there was rain in the forecast, and I was like, screw it. You know what I mean? Like, we're just going to go home. So the we before we went to six summer, I had seen this car that we bought for sale. It was like for sale from a chassis shop. We drove home, and when we were driving home, I was like, man, we're gonna have to make this car a hard top because I'm done with this. It's a safety problem at this point. Like ripping the roof off, caving the windshield. The caving the windshield in had nothing to do with it being a convertible. It was just held in with the wrong. It was held in with butyl instead of whatever they use, whatever the other stuff is that they use. So, but the windows flying out, the roof ripping off. I was like, we got to make it a hard top, and we I went home from six summer, started cutting out the drip tray well of the car, like where the convertible top folds into. And then Laura comes out and says, "Hey, if you're going to make this a hard top, you should just sell the car." And I was like,
pretty good
"Oh,
suggestion.
well, it was like an hour after I'd already cut stuff out of it. Like you
Ah,
can't just like,
I
you know,
understand.
yeah. So like that was her way of like throwing a dig at me, I guess. I don't know why she did that, but and when I say she said I can sell the car, there's a little backstory to that. I've tried to sell that car a couple of times, and she always stopped me because she liked the car as a convertible and whatnot. But anyway, um, put the car up for sale, sold it to a gentleman out of Ohio, um, and he's been awesome. We're actually my old car. We had a hardtop roof put on it. My friend Jake Tinsley did it. He did an unbelievable job. You can't even tell that it was ever a convertible. It's pretty wild. Um, when the car's all done, nobody will ever know that it's my old car. Like you'll look at it and go, "Oh, okay." Um, so I bought this new car. It's a S550 chassis, and it's the goal was to have something that one had a hard roof on it already, two had a little bit longer wheelbase, and three was a little bit bigger inside because doing the drag and drive stuff, I'm not small, and my buddy Josh isn't small. So two guys packaging into a Fox body is like there's more room in the Festiva. You know what I mean?
A
So
Fox has a disproportionate amount of interior space to the size of the car, in my opinion.
yes,
It's not a small car, but it feels small. A
it
Fairmont doesn't
it's
feel like that, but
the Fox body is small.
and
It's
then
just
you
small
have
inside.
funny car cage and everything you
Oh
get.
yeah,
So there's even
yeah.
less.
Well, and then we had like I had two head containment seats in it, and then like a real wide tunnel for the big transmission and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, we sold it, bought this S550 chassis, brought it to Matt at Performance Fab. He finished off the car for me, doing all the getting the engine in it, building the turbo kit, yada yada, and that's all been pretty thoroughly documented on YouTube from his channel, Performance Fab. If anybody wants to like learn about what he did with it, and then it went.
Muted on the stream. I started watching him because of you posting about him, and then in his videos,
Yeah,
he's like, Devin says I should do this. I'm like, yes, you should.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm like the worst at that, right? Like I tell him, like, man, you really need to do a YouTube channel, yada yada. And then like I'm over here, I have a good YouTube channel, and I'm like, I don't have time to ever post anything to it. So, um, the whole reason we did like well with YouTube at all is because like Laura will come out and say, hey, you need to make a video. I'm like, okay, you know. Um, but the car got done there, and then it went to back to my buddy Jake Tinsley, and he powder coated the whole thing, and he powder coated the chassis. Then it went to Dayton at DC Customs, and he painted it. And it's funny that like it's the car is white. It's called Yulong white, and it's from a Range Rover. It's a factory color from a Range Rover, but it's like a two-stage like base clear. There's like no pearl clear, like there's no pearl stage or anything. Like it's not like a super fancy, you know what I mean? And we everybody that saw it at PRI is like, dude, you painted your car gray? And I'm like, no, it's gray here, but it's white when you go outside. You know what I mean? And then pictures from like the racetrack the other day, people were like, holy crap, it's white. And I'm like, yeah, it's a really cool color. It's a neat color, and it's not like a really expensive color, which was a big thing for me. And um, it's also something I don't paint, but it's also something that is supposedly easy to match, which we're fixing to find out because I have already screwed that thing up. So um, you'd be proud. I scratched it the day I picked it up. So like the day, like within an hour. Like it
That
was
this does
impressive.
please me. That makes me happy too. When Cleet
Mhm.
does that, that's the first thing I would do too, because he's like, James is gonna scratch this changing a spark plug, and I'm gonna be upset. So he's like, might as well nick it now and don't have to worry about it.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, no, it's like it's that poor car, like whatever. There's a whole bunch of like little nicks and stuff all over it now, and it's like I've only had it out to the racetrack like 3 times, and like haven't even driven on the street yet.
Yeah,
So it is what it is. So I've grown up a little bit about like trying to keep it perfect. You know what I mean? I'll make sure it's nice, but I'm not going to be crazy about keeping it perfect.
yeah.
Um, so anyway, we got it all done. Then it came back here. We wired and plumbed it and finished it and did a whole bunch of stuff. And the we've now been testing. We brought it to PRI. We put it in the Holly booth at PRI. That is for anybody watching who ever gets the opportunity to do that. I warn you to not. This is the second year that we have put my car in the booth at PRI for Holly, which Holly and I have a great relationship, a good working relationship, and I got a lot of friends there, and you know the um, they asked me to bring it, and it was going to be a crunch, and I said, yeah, of course we'll bring it, and it was really kind of hinging upon when Laura was going to have the when her surgery was going to be scheduled. So once we kind of found out a surgery scheduled date, I said, okay, we're in. So we'll bring it. And we brought it, and it is unbelievably terrible to do. This year was especially bad because it snowed on the day that we were leaving. And it's always like a mad dash to get out of there. Everybody's trying to be first to leave. And that just doesn't happen. It causes like a huge pile up. It takes a day and a half to get the car loaded in, and that's without us even having to do anything. It's just like hurry up and wait nonstop. It's tough. Plus, it's in Indy in December, so like that's not awesome, you know. So, but Pure Eye is an awesome show, and I highly recommend anybody in this industry to go check it out. And once the car's in the booth, it's pretty tough for me because everybody wants to talk to me about the car. And like, you like it'd be cool if you could talk to like the 500 people that want to talk about it all at one time, but you wind up saying the same thing 500 times and you're like, man, I really want to go make some connections with companies. That's why I'm here at PRI.
It's
So
almost you need a like a door hanger sized pamphlet that's one page that's like that runs that gambit. I'm glad you're here. I'm very sorry I can't talk to you like super long. I would like to give you attention, but you know what I mean like
yeah,
but
yeah,
you
it's
only have so much time. Please be respectful. Go the hell away.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's like the thing is that like, and Laura, I'm sure is going to chime in because she's a ball buster about this. But like, I like talking to people. I do like talking to people. I like um the the more you interact with people, the more you learn from them. I learn a lot from people just having conversations about nothing. And sometimes you learn stuff about cars that you would have never thought of. And I do like talking to people, and I like interacting with everybody and having everybody having a good time and learning about whatever they're asking about. But the problem is that I can sit there and talk to somebody for however long they want to talk about whatever it is, and then look down at my phone and realize, man, the show's going to end soon, and I didn't get to do anything I wanted to do. So that's the tough part about PRI for me. So um, if Daniel, one employee who we brought to PRI this year, is watching, he can F himself because I know he's talking crap right now about that. Uh, but yeah, it's PRI is a good time, but it's just tough to interact like that. So now you almost kind of wonder, or you kind of like understand why when you go to the racetrack, like Garrett's got like rope around his car. You know what I mean? It's tough, and don't want to deal with that
No,
at a
yeah,
racetrack.
that's it sucks to have to inside your trailer. Imagine having to fit like counting yourself off. But yeah, I mean, he wasn't able to do that. And similarly, like I had him and I asked him a question. We asked questions about like how terrible the fans can be, and he says he mostly has positive interactions, but there's been once or twice where people come up to the toter and they like knock on it at 11 p.m. and they're like, "What's up?" And he's like, "I hate to tell you, you shouldn't do this, but this is why there's warning labels on medication, unfortunately." So,
Yeah. It's like there's like the little meme that runs around like back in the 50s, they tell you how to refill your run your valves, like your valve lash in your owner's manual. And
yes.
now like there's a warning label that says don't drink battery acid.
Yes.
It's like the times have changed.
The issue
The
is we so the people that shouldn't have made it have because of overused warning labels. That's
Yes,
on days I don't like people, that's what I say to myself.
I agree.
They
Yeah.
wouldn't have made it in a post-apocalyptic scenario.
We have downed Darwin, like we have stood in his way. Uh yeah. So but anyway, so no, we did the PRI thing. That was cool. And then the car ran going to PRI. Like I got it fired up before PRI. I'm not like a SEMA guy where like you know what I mean? Like we're not gonna push it in there because it doesn't have it's not wired or something like
No,
that.
I
So
went to SEMA twice and I was like, I'm never doing this again. And I went to PRI once and I couldn't even, same thing. I talked to like a family owned American clutch place and I just started asking them stuff and they knew everything and it was fantastic. And before you know it, I'm like, oh, there goes an hour of
yep.
the. I won't be able to see, even if I had, I think a week, you wouldn't be able to see everything that's there, let alone talk to anybody.
Yeah, you have to like commit to like just walking by a booth and not caring at all about like like that's the way I look at it is like I go there and I say on my way there I say okay I want to find a company for this and this and you find and then like if I walk past a booth and that company is not what I was looking for you just have to like completely ignore it because otherwise you're going to spend 2 hours looking at something because you're like me, like we have squirrel brains. You know what I mean? Like it's
Oh
it
yeah,
you
it's tough to describe it to people, but some of them can get it. I have it's easiest to explain to people that I have like if it were networking, it would be a giant bandwidth stream of a certain 100 things a day at the same time. And that's why, like, mid conversation, I switched tracks to completely something else because whatever I was saying reminded me of something on the other
yeah.
train route. And then I can't get
Oh yeah.
back. I've already taken off to that station. I can't remember what I
Yeah.
was saying at all.
Yeah, I'm the same way. So like you just have to kind of just run through like the show as fast as you can to try to see everything in one day, and then make notes of like, okay, I want to go back and talk to this company, and this company. And unfortunately, I only got to see about half of what I wanted to see out of the show, but it was a good time either way. And Daniel was jazzed. That's him commenting in there. Daniel Williams 4650. Um, he was jazzed to be there. And what's the coolest product I saw at PRI? Yeah. So this is funny. Okay, this is funny to me. Well, I don't think it's. I mean, I own it now because it's awesome. So you walk around PRI and there's all these like fancy pro chargers and turbos and engines and all that stuff, right? And we stumbled upon a booth that was selling glue, super glue. Okay, so it was like this older, like German woman and her husband, and this is what sold me, right? So like we walked up to the booth and it says like this shit sticks to everything or something like that. You know what I mean? Like whatever it said, And like we walk up to the booth and like there's this older German woman and she's got the cap off of a super glue bottle. And I was like, how long has that cap been off? And she's like, all day. I said, there's no way. And then she's like, yeah. So then she poured it out onto her hand. I'm like, you psychopath. What is wrong with you? You know what I mean? Because like I said to her, I was like, you just ruined like your entire day because like your arm is now covered in super glue. And she's like, no, it's 999. It's just wipes right off, And you're like, oh, okay. Uh, it was the best glue I've ever seen. So she suckered me. I got it. I paid like $60. We all bought glue. That was my favorite product at Pure Eye. Glue. That was it.
That's incredible. I mean,
It's
does it just take a while to dry and
no, it's anaerobic, right? So like if you it's super
absence of
glue.
air, right? Like
Exactly. Yeah. So like
Loctite. So you smash
ex-
something, it dries in there.
yep. Yeah. So like you can rub it on your hand and it doesn't dry. But she was like she was like twisting like two like nuts together like this, right? Over and over again, and it was doing nothing. Then she squeezed them together and it was locked down. I was like, there's no way. So I had to buy it,
What was,
you know?
we need to put that in the description or the chat then so people can check it out. You should
Yeah, I
talk
don't
to
even
them and
remember.
get a
I'll have to
discount
find.
code for them.
I know, right? Oh, they don't know any. I don't know. They don't even know what that is. Like they were like so super German older people. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's it. It was just like,
we have people out here who are selling split wood that just says put $20 in this box and take 20 pieces of wood. Like they're
yeah,
farm eggs, vegetables, and people aren't even
right, right,
there.
right.
They just have it out and you pay and leave.
Yeah, yeah. Like they were, but I mean, it was awesome. So I don't know. Um, I don't know. Maybe if Daniel's watching, he can go look it up online. I'm sure there's a name somewhere. So no, it didn't even need an activator or powder or anything. And there's a filler, and there was a lot of cool stuff that there was a lot of cool stuff that it came with, but you didn't need it. So it was pretty neat. But that was the best part of PRI for me. That was the best booth, I should say, was the glue booth. Hmm.
What was their names, if you asked? I'm curious how German their names are.
Oh, it was like super German. I don't remember what their names were, but like it was very, very German, you know, like Helga, maybe, you know what I mean? Uh, it was,
Ludwig van Helsing was the guy's name.
yes, something along those lines. It was the woman did all the talking though, she did all the talking. The husband just sat there and was just like, oh yeah,
That was
whatever. She's
that
selling glue.
family clutch place. I asked a few questions and he was like, Vicky, come here. And I just asked her everything. She knew
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
technical side. It was pretty
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So yeah, then we got done with PRI. We came home and got to testing right away with the new car. and it has been a little bit of a challenge. The It makes a bunch of power. So I guess if people don't know, it's a it's an S550 with a 557 cubic inch big block Chevrolet and a pair of HPT 94 millimeter turbos. Um, it's got a Rossler 3-speed turbo 400 with a lockup converter from Cameron Store Converter Services and 9-inch rear end. It's a 25-1, 25-2 double frame rail. Um, Still like stock body and everything. Like all the stock body panels are on it. Not all stock body panels, but stock like shaped and dimensioned.
Yeah, it may have obviously flared or lightweight or whatever.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like a pro mod, you know what I mean? So it's still got a steel roof and the quarters and the factory rockers and stuff in it, but not much else really. So we've been testing and the car shows a lot of promise, but it's been wheeling really, really, really bad, you know? Like uncontrollably bad. So um yeah, there you go. Max One Glue is the company name. Thank you, Daniel.
Oh,
Max
Max
One
One
Glue.
glue. No, yeah, I
That's
saw
it.
those videos where it was just once you start pouring the power and like 60, 100 foot out, it just starts coming up.
Yeah, like now we can go like 108 or I think it was 60 foot on the back tires like over and over and over again. Like because that's what or 109 maybe. It's just been wheeling constantly. And we tried a couple different bar angles with the 4 link. We've tried a couple different things and the I think, and again I don't know, but I think I called out and I phoned a friend and I asked somebody who's a lot better at that than I am, and I'm grateful that the Prestons were willing to talk to me about it, and they gave me a bar angle setup that I should try. We tried to go out yesterday and test, but the racetrack was so cold that nobody was pulling off the starting line, and it was actually the first time we've spun the tires with the car yet, and it was really, really, really cold out. So just yesterday didn't work out. So we are actively looking for somewhere to test. Um, we haven't gone fast. Somebody asked earlier, like how fast you go test, and it's like we haven't gone like fast at all. Like I think we went like 4:29 or 4:31 or something like that. I don't even know. 4:35 maybe. It's been on like low power, low boost. We're just trying to get the wheelie thing sorted. So the motor hasn't seen over like 26 pounds of boost yet. So um, I think we got a hot rod though. If we can keep the front end down, I think we got a hot rod. I think this thing's going to be really fast. Um, so yeah. Then we're actively looking for somewhere to test. We're probably gonna have to go to Florida because we have to test before sick week, but also before Laura's surgery. Because when Laura has surgery, I'll be with her in the hospital or at the hospital for about a week, and I'm not going to get back from the hospital and just immediately like say, okay, you're on your own. See you later. So we got to test. Yeah, we got to test. You know, right away. So, um, if anybody owns a racetrack that wants us to come there and test, please chime in. You know what I mean? uh, it's it is what it is. Hopefully we can get it done. But I did tell Laura and Josh and I talked about it. We said that if we can't go fast before sick week, we're not going.
That makes sense. It seems pretty miserable and a waste of time if that can't happen.
Well, a lot of people are going to probably hear me say that and go, well, that's stupid because it's for the experience and it's for a good time and whatnot. And you're right. It is a blast. Like I have a lot of fun when we go do it. And I really enjoy like going out and doing the whole, I like hanging out in the parking lots. I like driving down the road in the cars. I like that part of it more than the racing part of it. But
I feel
um,
like I would like to just what is it? Scab. They called them
yeah,
so if you're familiar with Vehicular Lunatics, when they did the Scumball 3000
Oh yeah,
and they just
yeah, yep,
followed everybody and slept at cheap hotels next to the. Yeah, they did it for like a fraction of the price. So, same thing.
yeah. The the racing part of it's fun, but it's not. I don't know. To me, like it's fun. Like I like the racetrack, but like I'd spend too much time at a racetrack. You know what I mean? A lot of guys that do this stuff, the only time they get to spend at a racetrack is when they go on a drag and drive. I'm the opposite. I like going out and I don't know. We had a blast like driving through like the middle of nowhere in Iowa. You know what I mean? Like you go through like a small little town in Iowa in this 3,000 horsepower car pulling a trailer, and like there's kids and there's families like out on their porch like waving and this is awesome. And that's the part I like. I enjoy that more than I like going to the racetrack. Um but
Similarly, like I build stuff to Hoon most of the time. I mean, I don't
yeah,
care, but I still, if I go once a year, I want to see something decent for
right,
what I have. But again, I would run a tighter converter and everything for a street car and then just sauce it for the day or two that it needs to actually 60 foot. So similarly,
right.
I like driving them around and people seeing them. And when people are into cars and they're like, "Why is that truck loud?" and you like brake stand a burnout at 40 miles an hour and stupid things like that. I
Yeah.
love that also. That's why I'm not the drag and drive isn't appealing to me because, like I said, I would drive like my Kia and just go
Yeah.
spectate, but that just costs money, and I could just watch it on a free stream. So
See, I like that. I like there's something about like driving. I remember the first sick week we did. Driving down the road, like we pulled out of Orlando on day one. I'm driving down the road and I look in my mirror and I see like old yellow headlights. And I was like, and you don't see that anymore, you know? And so I slowed down and I was like, oh, what is this? And it's like a Chevelle that passes me. And I'm like, oh, freaking awesome. And then like there's like a little 34 Ford T bucket or whatever that passes you. And then there's a Camaro and it's nothing but hot rods. So like there's something about going and doing a drag and drive and that you're driving around with 300 or 200 or however many it is, hot rods like in the
that
same
makes
town.
sense. Yeah, you never see those cars out. So to get a
Yeah.
rolling car show the whole time of fast cars, I didn't think of it
Yeah.
that way. I mean that makes it look pretty cool in my eyes.
Yeah.
That changes what I think about it.
Well, if you think about like when we were younger, right? And we'd everybody go meet up and like go do burnouts and like do that kind of stuff. Well, now there's 300 of you. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's a good time. It's a really good time. But the other side of me, like I really enjoy that. But the other side of me and Josh is that we're competitive, and I like to win, and he likes to win. I'm not going to say that we need to win. I'm going to say that we need to be competitive. And if we can't be competitive, I don't want to waste our time because there's plenty of other stuff that I could be doing without, you know what I mean? Without being like, if I'm not going to be competitive, I can just not be competitive at home.
Exactly. You could be making money instead of spending it to
Right.
prove nothing or get not to your goals, etc.
Right. Um, the drag and drive stuff is though, like to me, I think that the drag and drive stuff is probably where the majority or where the majority of grassroots racing is going. Not highbrow, high level stuff. You know what I mean? It's I think that that's where it's going.
Oh yeah, the
Somebody said there's
Nelsons are have done that stuff forever, and it feels like they are never not having a good time.
yeah, a couple people are talking about Hot Rod Drag Week. We did Hot Rod Drag Week in 23. We won our class. We broke every radial tire record there was for Drag Week. We placed, I think, second overall on a 275 drag radial. And you'll probably never catch me back at a drag week again. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to talk bad about their deal or whatever. I'll just you probably won't ever catch me at drag week again. So um, you know, so we host our own drag and drive event, and I really like the sick week, and I really like sick summer. The way they do things to me is a little bit better. So um, you know, but yeah,
I have a quick one if you're okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I had my own questions up here at the top, and one of them was, what is something you learned this year that you didn't know, and something that you were wrong about?
Hmm.
It's a character development question.
We're sort of therapy. Let's see. Something I learned this year. Um, I Go ahead.
Maybe it is therapy. I have been told I have a wonderful telephone voice, but I think that's because I'm hard to look at.
You got a voice made for, you got a face made for radio. Uh, yeah. I think that the thing that I learned this year was that I don't need to be so stressed out about everybody's timelines. And that may seem like dumb to a lot of people, but it's very big to me. Uh, like it, like I used to be very worried about making sure that I hit people's timelines no matter what. And don't get me wrong, it's still important to be within our timeline as long as things like with customers' cars, as long as things don't, deviate from the original plan or whatever. But I'm not losing sleep at night over it anymore. I'm just not, you know, I can't do it anymore. Um, I think I've learned that I need to kind of chill out a little bit because I get so stressed out about stuff that is, not important, you know, like we get customers that like, and again, I'm not singling out any customers. Like it's just a generalization, whether it's they're bringing a car to be wired, or they want to buy parts, or they ordered, whatever. Um, a lot of people have spent years building a car, right? Spend years building a car, and the car's at paint for 6 months, and it was at the chassis shop for a year and a half, and they waited 9 months for an engine, and blah blah blah, right? So now they've got all the pieces of the puzzle, and it's all bolted together, right? And now they need it wired and plumbed. And they're like, if this isn't done in 2 weeks, the world is going to end. It's like, what? Where was the sense of urgency? Uh, when you like, you know what I mean? Like, where was the sense of urgency when when you had the engine shop take 9 months? You know what I mean? And that's
I always say the same story, just like at the end when there's tuning to be done, because that needs to be done after wiring usually. And obviously, if you skipped steps or went too fast and haven't built a car before, or have, I mean, there's stuff on my truck I missed that I just put together, but again, yeah, it is funny when you have to like fire people too. You can't call
yeah.
anyone back. Certain people you just can't interact with because it's different for me. I'm not a tuner full time. I can't hold people's hands. So I have to consider that when I listen to them. Like if I go back and forth with someone, I have to be like, well, you're too needy. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You can be needy, but you have to have someone that'll text you every hour. And that's not this facility.
Well, and there's something else about that whole neediness thing, which is the automotive industry, like the racing automotive industry, is a weird industry, right? And certainly the part of it that we're in, right, the drag race side of it, the road race side of things is completely different. Um, it is very different. It's nauseating how different it is. And but the drag race and people watching, and I don't think that I'm being an asshole here. People like don't like I'm not, but there is a lot of people out there that want the absolute best of the best of everything. Okay. But they don't want to pay for it, and they don't want to wait, and they're impatient, and it needs to be done now. And then there's the people that have no problem paying for it, but they refuse to wait. So you you've got to kind of pick your fights, right? So like if you have like if we have, and again, we have like lots of great customers, but there's been a handful of people that have contacted us about wanting us to wire a car, and we're just like, no, You're like, I'm not dropping everything I'm doing for you. I'm not, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, you want to talk to me about how we owe you something and we should discount this,
They
that, and the
want to
other.
like butt the line and be like, here's $100,000 to do my car this week instead of everybody else's. Is that, or that's part of it?
Well, if they just showed up at 100 grand and said, "Can you just do my car now and butt you in front of the lineup?" I'd be making Laura make phone calls to the other customers and go, "Hey, honey, tell them sorry, but we're gonna take this $100,000." No, I'll tell you a funny one. We had a guy who
So
was
it's
like, "I
just
need you to."
people that have a, well, just obvious, like they want it done in a day. Is it just that is the most annoying part, or I don't know why I'm
No,
asking so many questions about this, to be
no,
honest.
no, no. It's. I think the worst part is that when the people are like, "I need it now. I want a discount," and you need to talk to me the entire
Oh,
time you're doing it.
entitlement. They're entitled.
Right.
Nobody can stand those people. Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, a lot of people, that's gotten terrible from, from, I guess it's cliche to say parents, but there's no accountability and no one got hit in the face.
And you know what's crazy is that like again, like I have to reiterate this. Like we've got a lot of like great customers that are like, no, understand. You know what I mean? It takes the amount of time it takes. You know, it is what it is. No big deal. Um, but what's crazy to me is like the people that have come to us that like they need to be discounted. They want it done now, and like I need to make them like number one priority of my life. They don't go to their doctor and argue for a better deal. They don't go to Walmart and try to beat them down on a price of a television. They don't go to the grocery store and beat them up on a price of eggs. They just accept that this is what it costs. The same people that are buying stuff off of Amazon and never arguing a price are the same people that'll bring their car to the car dealership to get whatever done. They don't go to the car dealership and argue the price there, but they will absolutely beat you up for a man. You need to lower the price. You need to help me out. I'm going to do so much for you. It's like, man, we had a really funny one call us. And well, he had to talk to me. I don't remember his name. Otherwise, I'd say it because the guy was a douchebag and I don't care. Um, and he says,
I believe you. I think
"Oh,
everybody
I'd
else
100%."
does
Like
too.
I would tag him in it if I could. You know what I mean? But I just don't remember his name. But he called and he said, "Hey, I'm building a car and I will put you on the map in the drag and drive world if you give me a good deal on this." And I said, "What do you mean you're going to put me on the map?" And he's like, "Well, you know, we're gonna win everything, and we're gonna be the baddest thing since sliced bread, and we're gonna, you know, this thing's gonna be amazing." Okay, man, how'd you find me? Well, I followed you from Sick Week. I said, "Sounds like I was already on a fucking map, huh?" You know, like how you gonna put me on the map that you were just looking at to find me? Like he wanted a discount, he wanted it done next week, he wanted everything done. You know, it's like, what are you supposed to do with that? So when you tell them like, I don't even want your money, they're weird. People get weird when you say like, no, no, I just don't want to work for you. So is what it is. But other than that, we have a lot of really good customers that have been. Uh, I'm very humbled with how good some of our customers are. Very happy about it.
It is nice when you get those people. I've had people come, like some of these people come 10 times or more. They build cars, so they come here every year or two. And yeah, it's always nice. Those people have learned, you have learned, they've fixed whatever, they've heard you say what sucks, they don't do it ever again. That stuff's very rewarding. Like, especially someone will make a post and I've never heard or seen them ask a question or anything, and even after they make the post, I can click on them and see their activity in sloppy public, and it says like they made 6 posts in 3 years. But that
Yeah, yeah,
person will
yeah,
make a giant post and be like, I just read and watched and listened and did this and it worked. And I went
yeah,
fast and I made good power. And I'm like, wow, these people exist. Like this guy just read and did stuff and holy cow, look at it worked. It's amazing.
yeah. Yeah. Um, uh, yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot of like awesome people in this industry that they do this stuff because they enjoy it. There's a lot of people that do this stuff because they think they need to impress somebody. And those people are usually the bummers in the crowd. You know what I mean?
They didn't
The
get
people that
hugged
just do it
enough.
because they want to have fun are the ones that uh, have a lot better of a time, and they're a lot better to work with. So, you know, it is what it is. But oh well, we have awesome customers. We've worked on lots of cool stuff. We continue to work on lots of cool stuff, and I'm honestly very humbled with the amount of work that we get and how far away people come from us. The We've done cars this year from let's see, Vermont. We're in South Carolina. We've done cars this year from Vermont, Southern Florida, Colorado, and Laura would have to tell me it's either North or South Dakota. I don't remember. Um, Wisconsin, Texas, Louisiana, Arizona. We've had them come from all over the country. So, and everywhere in between, you know what I mean? Like we've had from other states in between. We've had, it's pretty humbling to know that people have traveled as far as they have to come see us and have us take care of their pride and joy. So that's probably my favorite part of, you know, doing what we do. You asked me a two-part question, and one was, what have you learned? And the other one was, what mistake have you made? And I'm going to tell you the mistake that I made because I just thought of it. And, it was a shitty one. Um, I made the mistake. It was more so Laura's mistake, but I backed her on it, so it's my mistake as well. We made the mistake of trusting someone who was an emotional freight train nightmare to deal with to begin with to actually finish paying his bill after he took his car. That was a mistake. That was a big mistake. Um, and he's a shithead and he's a liar. And he took his car and he made up a whole bunch of stuff and then a bunch of lies about us. And we disproved them all publicly. And then he still hasn't paid his bill. So, um, funny thing about that though is that I sprinkled a couple little nuggets in there in the programming amongst the PDM and the ECU. So good luck. You know,
I think I remember seeing posts about this.
yeah, yeah. And it's when it burns to the ground, not the car, but when the engine burns to the ground, uh, when he's got a bunch of ashtrays in the motor, um, they're going to realize that they should have just paid me. But it's okay because before the car left, I programmed a couple things in there that we're not going to work out well if they make some passes with the car, and if they whatever, it'll be way more expensive for them to fix than if they would have just paid me. So he sold it. He sold the car. He sold it to somebody, and that person knew prior to buying the car about the money owed and whatnot. And he basically told me to that dude basically told me to just pound sand and that I should get online and fix it and you know and change the programming or whatever I did, whatever, and
Well, how about he
I should
pays
just
the
do that.
bill and that would be no issue for you?
The funny thing about it is the guy who bought the car shorted the person he bought the car from more than what my bill is because he said he had to pay my bill and then told me to fuck you, basically, I'm not paying your bill. So I learned, yes, the selfie filter guy. Yeah, Josh Farrell is his name. If anybody wants to know, Joshua Farrell. He's changed his name on Facebook to Josh Gavin. Yes, I'm not your typical business owner. I will be an asshole because some people deserve it, you know. Um, oh well, that's what I've. That was the mistake I made. So
Well, that's like why I ask is people who are infallible or full of themselves or lying will say that they had no problems in a year, didn't learn anything, know everything, and we all know somebody like that who has
oh yeah.
credentials that never reach fruition. But yeah, same thing.
Oh, I've made plenty of other mistakes. That was just probably the one that like has lasted. the longest in my mind.
Well, that's
You
the
know what I mean?
question. Yeah, that's the question is the biggest one. And so
Yeah,
people can learn from that, like,
yeah.
shouldn't let it happen or how to avoid it or some sort of collateral or, like, I've heard of stuff where people get your title or something insane and, it's like a pawn shop.
What I wanted to do was just pull parts off the car that we supplied to him until,
A little bit
like to,
of, what's that
well,
word?
just to balance out like what he owed us, you know what I mean? And then when he could pay the bill, we would just mail him the stuff and he could just plug it in and
Yeah,
be
that was
done,
already set up. Yeah.
Yeah, and Laura said, no, he came up with this idea of doing a signed and notarized payment plan. I don't remember what the hell it was called, whatever it was. And it was his idea. He's a con man. We should have just known it. You know what I mean? Um, you know, we should have just known it because it was his idea. He knew it right away. He called us crying. It's like, oh, it was so pathetic. Like it was like such a beta cuck situation. You know what I mean? Like he was just such a pussy. Um,
Did he
oh,
say
dude, he's
something like, "Oh, my wife or girlfriend is making me not spend the money," or someone
oh
trying to
no,
get
no,
out of
no,
it?
no, no. No, he threatened me on the phone and he's threatened yelling at Laura and shit. And then yeah, I told him, I said, just keep that same energy. And I told him, I said, listen, I gave both my employees off tomorrow. He said, why is that? And I said, so that I don't have any witnesses of what I'm going to do to you. And then I hung up the phone
He
on him.
doesn't. A lot of people don't know old Devin, but this is a
Yeah,
shadow
a
for
lot of people,
everybody.
a lot of people don't know the old me. Uh, and I'm glad. I'm very happy that a lot of people don't know the old me. You know what I mean? I'm very happy about that actually. But the old me was coming out that day, and it was going to be really ugly. But anyway, I hung up on him. He called back an hour later, crying on the phone. Laura, right there, she just chimed in, legit cried. He was in tears on the phone. I just talked to my mommy. He's 35 years old. You know, uh, whatever. I don't want to talk about this shithead. You know, it is what it is. That was my biggest mistake. Here, I could tell you one that's actually kind of a funny one, like tuning wise, car wise, whatever. Um, I so I'm on or we're at the racetrack, and this was earlier this year, and I have I made a video on something, don't remember what it was, and I saved the file name as the tune-up that I was working on for the car for the next outing, right? Don't remember, I don't even remember what the hell I did, but the the file name was the tune-up that we were going to run for that day, at the racetrack. And I saved something in there from the video that was a safety, right? So you go to spool it, car shuts off. Okay, what was that about? It took about, I don't know, 45 minutes to find my mistake, but it was rather embarrassing because it's over and over again until you're like, God damn, I'm an idiot. And then you see it and you're like, ah. So um a lot of people look at like what we do and like racing and wiring and whatnot and think that we don't ever make mistakes, but I make mistakes all the time. We do it all the time. The difference is that I'm very good at spotting them pretty quick. That one at the racetrack took me a little bit of time, um but it was on my own stuff, and you know what I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal, and we were just testing anyway. So but we make mistakes all the time, and if anybody ever tells you that they don't make mistakes, they're lying. So, yep. Oh yeah, yeah. Everybody's flawless, you know. Yeah. So we run three sets of injectors in my car. The first set is pump gas injectors. So when we're racing the car, those have nothing to do with anything. Then the second set is a set of Siemens Deca 220s, and we idle the car on them and we spool the car on them. And like while it's on the trans brake, it switches over to the AFIS 600s. And we go down the racetrack on the AFIS 600s 100%. Like we don't use anything else. It's only one injector, per cylinder when we're going down the racetrack. And we run them The base pressure that they're rated at the Flow 600 is 43 psi, and the what's it called, the what we run is like right around 55 psi base pressure. So, yep.
Apparently, I'm
Yes, you can make 3,500 horsepower with a single set of 600s if you know what you're doing.
nice. That's wild. I was looking through this quick. There's someone that
Somebody
asked
said something
something
about, oh, here, I see something here.
way in the beginning.
Uh,
Do you know this Skynet Today guy? He's asking a bunch of funny things.
I, I don't know.
He says if you make Ford harnesses, he'll buy 10 right now. But the funny
Oh,
thing
buddy.
is, what's that?
Oh, I do. Oh, buddy. I was like, just like, that's just infuriating. Yeah.
You do.
We do make one.
Your harnesses
Yeah.
are modular. If you ever looked at
Yeah.
the
Well,
ignition connector, you have like 7 pins there for different ignition setups.
we've already got one already set up for Ford, like
Oh,
with
look at
Ford.
MF Custom says they already
Yep.
do. Sorry, I missed
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of a gig. Whoever Skynet today is must know me because, or remember me bitching about this before. Before we started doing the Ford harness, we had so many people say, "Oh man, if you made a Ford harness, we buy one right now," you know. And the Ford guys did nothing but let me down. Like they did nothing but let me down. Nobody bought. We barely sell any Ford harnesses ever. Ford guys have pushed me so far into now thinking that we should just be LS people because the LS guys buy harnesses. You know.
Yeah, can you hear me? I'm changing my microphone because people are saying I'm too quiet again. So I'm
Well,
just
that
gonna.
was a while ago. I think people said that.
Yeah, someone said it again. So
Oh, okay. I
I,
don't know.
I
You just
changed it
made.
to my other one. Does it sound? Well, you probably can't hear a difference at all. It's not. You're not going through the
Oh yeah,
stream
true, true.
software. So we'll see what people say. I can see it moving right now, so I'm assuming it's okay.
Yeah, the
Okay,
new mic
yeah,
sounds
this
way
is
better.
a yeah, this is a much more expensive microphone than the one that's built into my crappy headset.
Okay.
This is what I use
Uh,
for my telephone radio voiceovers.
it sounds like it. It sounds like you should be collecting like debts for like JG Wentworth or something.
Oh, nice. That's a compliment.
I know. It's my money and I want it now. So yeah, I was scrolling through some questions here about a 2016 ZL1 Camaro fan. Um, single 10 gauge for the positive and 10 gauge for the negative really depends on. So the question was like when you're wiring up one of those ZL1 Camaro fans, which in my opinion is the best fan on the planet. Until I stumble upon something else that's better, you know what I mean? That's the winner. Um, does he recommend a single 10 gauge wire for the positive and 10 gauge for the negative? So that is a question that I can't answer because I don't know how long of a circuit it is. That's what dictates wire size. That's one of the factors that dictate wire size. So if the circuit is, you know, 3, 4, or 5 feet, sure, 10 gauge would be fine. If you're using Tesla wire, if you're not, use 8 gauge. Um, if your circuit's 20 feet long, then no, you probably need to, use something a little bit bigger. So,
No, yeah,
uh,
that's a good. I mean, obviously, you would bring that up if it's 5 feet or 20 feet. The amount of power that can be carried, it can obviously be pretty small if it's a foot away.
yeah. Oh yeah, you'd be surprised how much amperage you could push through an 18 gauge wire if it's only 6 inches long. You know. Um, somebody said, talk about the mullet wiring job. Oh yeah, I ain't talked to you since then, have I?
That is no, I think it's been a while.
Yeah. Um,
I think
that
like
was
maybe
interesting.
last radio show, other than like a stupid meme or two. I think that's about it.
Well, gotcha. I don't really don't remember. Um, the let's see. So 877 cash now. It's funny. The mullet wiring job. So I'll give you the whole rundown on this. This was actually a really tough job to do in the time frame that we had. So Cameron reached out to me probably 3 months prior and was like, "Hey, do you want to wire mullet?" And I was like, "Sure." It's like, "Okay, cool." And that was the end of the conversation. And then like 2 months prior to him bringing the car, he's like, "Hey, are these all the right parts that we have?" And I was like, "No." So I set him up with the right parts that he needed for the car, right?
Isn't it
So,
nice when
okay.
someone asks ahead of time and you can prepare?
Yeah. It was nice. Um, then then Garrett called me and he was like, "Hey, are you good with wire and mullet?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, cool." I was like, "All right, I thought we were already doing this." And so now this is like 2 months prior to the job, or a month prior to the job showing up. And I'm like, "When's the car coming?" Because like I need to know because I kind of need to work around a schedule. Well, I was told, this day and then this day and then this day, and they were trying to make it FL2K. And it's now like 3 weeks before FL2K. And I'm like, "When is the car coming now?" And they're like, "Oh, you'll have it on Monday or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, so it's going to give us, 2 weeks and 3 days to get this car wired, plumbed, fired up, get the tune up, half-ass right. And then the car back down to Florida in like, whatever, maybe 16, 17 days." He's like, "Yeah, that should be plenty of time, right?" And I'm like, "No, but whatever." You know what I mean? Like, we'll do it. So then it turned into like, "Oh, it's probably going to be another week." And I'm like, "Oh boy, like this is not going to work." And then thankfully, Cameron and Garrett both made public posts that said, "We're not doing FL. We're not going to make FL2K" before the car showed up to me. Thank God, because I had no idea what the amount of abuse I was going to get from the fans of that car, and that car, and of Garrett and of Cameron. I mean, we started working on that car. You read some of the comments, and they're like, "Why is it taking you so long?" It's like, buddy, if you have any idea what you're talking about, like, no, they don't. Um,
You should ask
Stop
them,
talking.
like, what's your paycheck in a week?
Right,
And they
right,
probably won't want to discuss that. But
right.
they want to know your money into Garrett's and hundreds of hours and then 75 to $150 an hour or cost or yeah, it's tough. Like you said again, Cameron and I always laugh cuz again, people at a machine shop they're like this was 15,000 and they go, "Okay." Bam. And then they go, "I want this, I want that," and then they need a transmission and they want to spend $1,000 on a close ratio like transmission.
Yeah,
And Cameron,
yeah,
he's losing his mind. He's like, it's $1,000 in labor,
right, right,
not
right. Uh,
even. Yeah,
yeah, so like so I'm thankful that they were like open and transparent about like, "Hey, we're not going to make FL2K, so don't make it Devin's fault." You
yeah,
know what I
that's
mean?
what I
Like,
wanted to comment on, and exactly, not the way you're like you're gonna get a car with mistakes. There's no way to function in
yeah,
this timeline. I'm just gonna say no, and you're gonna have to go somewhere else or
right.
relax this timeline.
Well, so then the timeline got basically just pushed by about 2 weeks, and that's about it. Um, because they wanted it for World Cup, which is fine. And Cameron had a little list of stuff that he needed to finish up with the car before it could go to World Cup. So they brought us the car, and we got to work on it immediately. So like I made a deal like, "Hey, when the car gets here, and I hope anybody who listens to this understands, like that was a large opportunity for us." So, and I was grateful because I've known Garrett for years, and like, but I've never looked at him as like somebody who I wanted to. I never looked at him as like somebody who's Cletus. Like I never looked at him as Cletus. You know what I mean? I just looked at him as like a fellow racer who I knew, and Zach works for him, and I've known Zach prior to him working for him. I just looked at Garrett as like just another guy that we race with that like I like. You know what I mean? Like that's the way I've always looked at him.
I'll
So
say it out loud quick because people have been asking about Zach, and I am very interested in Zach in a professional way. And I would like to have him on the show. And I think you said you would do like a chat one day, but that was way before. We were so busy. It would be
Yeah.
cool to have him on the show if you could ask him. I don't want to bother him. I'm not that guy, but I'd
Yeah.
send him messages on like Instagram, figuring if it would organically happen. But man, I don't even get to see most of the stuff in my messages. It gets buried by the time someone sends a few things.
Yeah, I can call
Or
him.
you can, yeah, I would ask him. Don't do the message thing. That's like a obligation thing, isn't it? I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
not
it
really. I
is.
mean, I'll just give him a call. No, Zach's cool. Um,
People were saying,
he
is
has
he really as dedicated, detail oriented, go getter? I mean, it seems like that.
so Zach's in a tough spot because um Cletus and the entire crew are unbelievable. Well, Cletus is unbelievably busy. I mean, I'm busy and I stay busy, and I am not nearly as busy as them. I can tell you that. The With that said, Cletus's schedule for things is extremely tight. So while Zach may want to be a perfectionist about doing something, he doesn't have the time. He's not allotted the time or the
Oh
resources to do.
yeah, I know that, and I think most people watching. I just mean like, I mean, I can tell he even knows the shims, the weights, all of that crazy stuff on the clutch. He's the guy that's working on the billet Hemi. It just seems like he can remember everything he touches. Even I know also when they're doing a blower install on an F-150, he's the guy that does it.
Yep.
I mean, there
Yeah.
must
So
be a billion things that come on. I'm used to working on swaps where you need like three things to run the thing, but he has to get
uh,
like every airbox and hose and vent and six. It's like it reminds me of old Hondas. I almost
oh
said
yeah.
modular. People will kill me. The Coyote reminds me of old Hondas with like 80 hoses everywhere, vacuum
Oh
lock.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what is all this shit? And then it's into such a complex torque algorithm that like the minute you do something wrong, the car doesn't want to run because of the meter is
Yeah.
upset. So I can't
Uh,
imagine like having to work around that. I would never, but that's me.
so Zach is the guy who will read the directions. You know? That Zach's the guy who will take a minute and say, okay, let me make sure that I'm doing this right. Zach is he's pretty detail oriented. Yeah, he learned most of what he knows by working for Josh Tonsky at Horsepower Solutions. Josh Tonsky is a friend of mine who is unbelievably meticulous, but he owns the company and he can move at his pace, and that's just the way it is. Um, so like he learned from that, right? He's Zach's just put into situations that are tough because like how do you deal with that? You know what I mean? Like how do you deal with hey, I need this done in an hour because we're gonna film it.
Yeah, I
It's like, well,
totally. I'm the thing here is I know that, and I'm amazed that he can get any of that done with the rush. I hope people are monitoring his health and blood pressure and things.
oh
Be,
yeah, no, I mean like I don't know, he came up here like so
he
well let me
doesn't
finish
seem
this.
stressed out. Like he leaves it go, right?
Yeah. He can just turn it off. Yeah.
That's
He's
nice.
pretty good at just turning it off. Which is good. That's important, I think, in this industry is to be able to just turn it off and to go to sleep. You
Yeah,
know, and just like, whatever, we'll deal with it tomorrow, you know.
it
Um,
seems like that. He doesn't really get hung up.
well you can, right? Like you can't. Like with like
He has too much going. He's already thinking about something else by the time their stuff breaks.
so we did mull it. We did it in 10 days. We wired it and we plumbed it in 10 days. We documented every single minute of it, or pretty much every single minute of it. Um, and I think we did a pretty good. Um, I think we did a pretty good job of covering everything that we did. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean,
the
I thought it was extremely good for the amount of time was outrageous. I know it's amazing that Laura could film while she's doing every single thing in the other aspect while that was going on.
oh yeah,
And make cinnamon rolls. Thank you,
oh yeah,
Laura. I
she's
always laugh like because of the spoiled you guys live at.
Yeah, we you know, this ain't a bad place to work. You know what I mean? It ain't a bad place to work. She does good. She actually made really good sandwiches today for lunch. So the so we get that car done like 10 days, fire it up, and he I said, "Hey, we got to, they were like, "Can you deliver it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." So Cameron Johnson left his trailer here. So we loaded Mullet up in the trailer. Um, Here, just side note, right? So like, because I'm crazy about this. I have like this, like if you bring me a car and it's strapped down with like piece of crap straps, I get so mad, right? So like a lot of times when people bring me a car and they're unloading it out of their trailer, I won't even go out and look because I don't want to be mad at them. Like, you know what I mean? Like if they show up with a $200,000 car and they got 12 cents worth of ratchet straps from
Yeah,
this
you
thing in
don't
there,
even want to judge. You just want to
right?
ignore it and not
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it and have a fresh look at somebody instead of like,
right,
this is a strap person. And now I
right,
hate
right. Yeah,
that.
dude, well, because like I caught myself doing that like a long time ago, and I was like, oh man, I can't do that. I can't do that to these people. So like, so I just don't even like pay attention to it. But anyway, so we go to strap Mullet down in this trailer, and they got like these piece of crap straps. I'm like, are you got to be kidding me? Like, there's no way. You know what I mean? Like, this is probably like the most well-known car in the internet. You know what I mean? Like, because Mullet's probably the most well-known car out there, right? Like in the automotive racing world. Um,
Yeah, it has to be top 10 at least, what people
yeah, for
can
sure.
recognize.
And they've got like 12 cents worth of friggin' Walmart, like half-inch wide. So I'm like, oh my God.
The
So we
after
go get,
hours, not good store to get straps purchase.
yeah, 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 like just terrible.
The
And I'm like, oh my
CVS straps.
God, right, yeah, yeah, like worse than the gas station. You know what I mean? Because at least at the gas station, they got like maybe it's a truck stop, so they got like a real strap. So I'm like a firm believer. Somebody just said it, Mac straps. I use Mac straps all the time for everything, and I've got probably 5 or 6 sets of them. There's been times where when I do see the straps that people have, I buy them a set of straps and I put it on their bill, and then they're like, and I'm like, hey, you got new straps for your car because like you're not going to load this thing up, and you know what I mean? Like I'm just anal about it. So anyway, so we go get
You're
some straps out of my
like
trailer.
you're like, I can't have one of your straps breaking and slapping one of my wiring or sensor installs. Get that
I
shit
don't
out
want
of here.
to. I don't. I also don't want to show up because it's got a caved in quarter or something because one of your piece of crap straps broke. You know what I mean? Like that's the last thing I want to do. So Daniel and I decide, okay, we're going to leave at like whatever time, and we're going to drive straight down to Florida. So we ride down to Florida. We get like Garrett's calling me, and he's like, just give me like a 2.5, 3 hour heads up, and I'm like, okay. And Cameron's like, just give me like an hour heads up when you get here, and I'm like, okay. So like 3 hours out, Garrett calls me, hey, where you at? And I'm like, I was just about to text you. We're about 3 hours out. He's like, okay, cool. We get down to Cameron's shop. Nobody's there. So Daniel and I are like, what's going on? So the guy who does all of his social media, he's standing outside. So I'm like, are we at the right place? He's like, yeah, yeah. I said, well, where is everybody? I said, well, they'll be here in a few minutes. And I said, okay, can I park right here? And they said, sure. I said, all right. So I start opening the back door to unload the car. He's like, I was told to not let you open that back door yet. I'm like, okay, why? Well, because they want to film this. I'm like, all right. I am not the YouTube guy. I like doing the YouTube videos and I really like connecting with a lot of people, but I'm not the YouTube guy. So me and Daniel are like, we just drove 10 hours to bring this car to you. I want to unload this bitch out of this trailer. I want to go over this car with you, and then I want to, go to sleep or go home. And now I got to wait. Well, I find out it's because Cameron went to the airport to pick up Garrett and the whole crew. So I was like, man, really? Okay. We went to the airport, which is 10 minutes away. Cameron pulls back up to the shop. This was crazy to me. And this goes to show how busy Cletus is. Okay. Zach and Squirrel and James pop out and Cameron, and we're all talking, right? And I'm like, well, where's Garrett? He's like, well, he's on the phone. He's in the car. Give him a minute. I said, okay. it's like 5 minutes goes by. Garrett hops out of the truck. He looks at Squirrel, right? Squirrel, what they call him? George? Is that what they call him? I think that's what they call him. Looks at
Yes,
George and
all of
says, "All
the
right, start
above.
filming."
Squirrel, George, LS George. Yep, I like the
Yeah,
name Squirrel. That should be
yeah,
his permanent real name legally.
right, on his driver's license. So so we get he hops out and he goes, "All right, George, fire up the camera. Let's go." He looks at me and he's like, "Man, awesome. Thank you so much for bringing it." Blah blah blah. He's like, "Let's check it out." I'm telling you, they got out of the truck and was like, "Film, let's go. Pull the door open. Let's see it. Let's do this right now." And I'm like, "Okay." We can't even talk about like anything we did off of your camera. And he's like, "No, let's go." Like, all right, sounds good. So we're unloading the car. He's all jazzed, whatever. We unload the car, we go over that. We made a video, like the Garrett made a video on it. I made a little video on it as well. So that's all. If you want to see that, you can see that. And literally, we got done with filming that, firing the car up, teaching him a little bit about this and that. And he's like, "All right, I got to go." And they left and they got back in their plane. Like Cameron drove him over to the airport. He got in the plane and he took off. And I text Zach and I'm like, "Good seeing you, buddy." And he was like, "Yeah, sorry, we got to go." I was like, man, like a lot of people say they're busy. That dude works very, very hard. He works very hard. He has earned everything he has accomplished. So it's
Oh
a
yeah. Yeah, that's
there's
without question. In the beginning, I was like, I hate this kind of content person that makes dumb stuff. And then once he started, well, he was making like 500 horsepower with the C5 and he was going so slow. And I'm like, it should trap better. It should whatever. I mean, I've said this to him in person. I gave
yeah,
him so much hell and he's still nice to me. He does not.
yeah,
He owes me nothing.
yeah.
And
Garrett's a really great dude. He's a really good person.
I
He's a
wish I
very
could
solid
have
person.
been uh had his attitude and well, man, I don't know what it is. Diplomacy is the word for it.
Yeah,
How to like hit common ground and respectful with everybody and never say anything. I like when he first started breaking a lot and he's like, it's not these companies. Don't bury their Google reviews. Don't do.
oh yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
everything breaks all the time. Everyone makes a mistake. The windows pop out of things.
Oh yeah,
We're
yeah.
going 3,500, 4,500 horsepower has a way of demolishing things on a moment's notice. And yeah, so I like how he does that. I really like how
Yeah,
it's not just
yeah.
transparency. It's understanding that going this fast is every day it makes it down is a wow.
Well, every day you hit the button and it fires up, you should just be happy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you should just be happy about it.
It's not
Um,
reliable for $45,000, $65,000 engine. Maybe those Pro
no,
lines are more conventional big block. Maybe like yours is 40.
yeah, but my motor is probably somewhere in that like intake to pan is probably somewhere about 55 ish.
That's what I meant. Yeah,
Fully dressed. You know what I mean? Like fully dressed, like everything. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, uh,
And then how
but
much is a Pro line?
the Hemis, like, I mean, you
Well,
could
like
buy a
he
Pro
has
line.
like intake to pan, same
Yeah,
answer.
they're about 85, somewhere around there.
Well, I guess
Um,
good. I think I said that. Like anyway,
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
yeah,
That was my
yeah. There's
understanding
some,
of the cost is about 50 and about 100 because
yeah.
you need like replacement rods after you make a couple passes to iron it out.
The Hemis usually get rods on the turbo stuff. They last a lot longer than the blower stuff. The blower
Well,
stuff
that makes
usually get
sense.
rods.
It hits them
Yeah,
really hard with the blower.
yeah. The what's it called? The blower stuff will get rods every, whatever. It depends on who's tuning them or whatever. But you'll get 15 runs out of them, maybe 12 runs, something like that on the blowers. On the screws, you're only getting like, maybe 8 runs out of them or something. As long as you don't zip the tires at all. If you spin the tires, then just change the rods.
So
So
that they're spinning too much with no load and that stretches them or does something else to them.
it goes from like tons of load to no load. and like really abruptly, and then the belt
Does it go
is
back and
real.
forth? All the load, no load?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So obviously, yeah, I
yeah,
can completely understand that breaking an input shaft and doing any number of crazy things.
yeah. It's basically like the screw blower stuff is the most that's the most maintenance you'll do. And then after that is the pro charged or centrifugal blower stuff. And then the bottom of that list, but the most horsepower is the turbo stuff. The problem is that tuning turbo stuff at that level is very difficult. And
It's hard to
it's
get
just a
the
lot.
immediate power, or
No, like you could take some of like the best tuners out there in the world, right? Breaking records with pro chargers or Harts chargers or screw blowers or whatever. And then you put them on the keyboard of a turbo car and they will, I'm not saying all of them, but you have to have a totally different way of looking at things
different
with a
animal,
turbo car.
so they would
Yeah, I mean, it's
struggle.
just, well, so the blowers are like, they're easy. It's like a cheat code. Like, I shit you not.
No, I get
We're
it.
struggling. We're,
Same thing like if you're tuning a stock ECU, older Gen 3 GM car, the meter is so well calibrated that if you can put the air through that tuning, it is unbelievably easy. Like you're like, boop, math curve, and the fuel's good.
yeah. So, if you, like we're putting it, like we're struggling with my car doing wheelies right now, right? And, we took my buddy Josh's car out, who's got a pro charged big block, similar weight, um, and a little bit heavier on the nose, but not much. It has zoomies on it, right? And we put a bar in the four link. We put a bar set up in the four link and a shock setting in it, like from shocks that we've never used before, from a company we've never used before. And the first rip out, we go like 106. It stays flat, doesn't do anything wrong. I'm like, oh, okay. And that car just goes down everywhere it goes. It's because you can leave the front end so loose and move. So like it's a it's wild how like much of a cheat code that stuff is. You know what I mean? So plus the pro chargers and the Harts chargers and the screws, they respond to timing really really well.
So you can
So
do traction stuff very. Yeah, I know. I was as soon as you started talking, like the main point 30 seconds ago, I realized I know this too. If
yep,
you are doing like if you're spinning the tires on a turbo car and you want to get it back, you have to shut it nearly to get the tire back because the
yep,
turbo is just going. The blower will slow. It's like a big motor. The blower will your power is well more linear, I should say. It's not definitely a blower car is like immediate 1,000 horsepower, so that's hard to say it's linear. But yeah, it makes sense. It acts like a big motor. A turbo
yep.
car is you have a ton of timing out on 20 pounds. It doesn't care. It's making like at least 200 horsepower close to where it normally is, which is you can't get that turbo speed down. I mean, I don't think it's fast enough. Probably the Terminator, and I know Dominator has drive shaft speed and some other stuff, but the Terminator has like motorsports style traction control where you can give it a front and a rear wheel, and you can build a chart for nitrous, drive-by-wire, boost, timing. And I noticed that timing does almost nothing. And this is even from my Colorado in 2016. I noticed that yanking a ton of timing on a turbo car just anti-lags it and stresses out like it makes way more boost than you want at a lower RPM, and it negates the power you're trying to pull because it's adding boost and exhaust energy.
Yeah, so like pulling timing out of it pisses it off, right?
Yep.
So and it just starts to, wick the turbos up a little bit more. Like I was just look before we got on this right here on our live stream, whatever this podcast, there we go. Radio show. I don't know
I
what
like to call it a
before we did
radio
that,
show. Podcast is like hipster, and I don't know why I have a problem with that, but just
I
throwing it.
understand and I agree. Uh I agree. I don't have a fedora, you know what I mean? Like I can't. Yeah. So before we got on here, I was looking at logs from my old car to this car, and I had like the other day we were out and I had like 9 degrees out of it, and it wound up picking up like 6 pounds of boost. It's like, whoops. You know what I mean? 9 degrees, picked
Yeah,
up six
same.
pounds of boost.
I've seen
You
the
know,
same thing. I tuned a long time ago. Calvin Nelson put the first 4200 in one of his cars, and he was like, "This boost creeps like crazy." And we had it on the dyno, and I was looking at how much ignition is in it, and I said, "Well, let's just throw two at it." And it
yeah,
lowered the boost and made more. You know what I mean? We were so far off base. I think we were 10 degrees low. It liked so
yep,
much more ignition, but it was something he wasn't familiar with, didn't have a dyno, etc. But same thing. And then I learned that when I did the traction control, I'm like, all I'm doing is like World Rally Car Championship, like where you lift the throttle and it does all the weird anti lag. Like
yep,
that's what I call motorsports. Anti lag is just what people do: fart, pop, bang. But motorsport
right.
grade is that when you're off like 50% throttle, it is doing the craziest stuff to keep the turbo
Oh
lit.
yeah, oh
But
yeah,
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 I'm
yeah.
sorry.
It just keeps it lit off the whole time.
You
Yeah.
can hear it, yeah. Like I know sometimes people must think it because man, what's that commercial where they have the Mitsubishi Evo as the taxi? The guy calls a taxi, and the like a real rally car with smashed fenders and stuff
Oh really?
blows up
I've
and
never
parks
seen it.
next to him, and it just sits there, and he gets in really slowly, and the minute he closes the door, the guy's off the anti lag he's been on for 5 seconds. You know,
That's funny. No, I haven't seen that. We don't have
I'll
cable.
dig it
I haven't.
up.
Yeah, I haven't seen TV in like 10 plus years. So 15 years. Uh, so I saw a couple of questions here that are sitting here. Let me answer some of these because I don't want to think people are like we're ignoring them. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, hold on. My mouse is screwed up. I dropped it, and ever since I dropped it, it's pissed off. I don't know what happened. Um, Andrew McNabb is a great customer of ours from Texas. Um, I'm glad you got your to-do list done. Uh, yeah, that guy gave Texans a bad name. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through some of these here. Uh,
Yeah, that's
okay,
totally fine. I'll just mention to everybody at the I pasted in the link for that Lancer rally car thing. You should watch it. It's funny. It's only 40 seconds because it's literally
okay.
just it's like a bus stop uh
This
skit.
has got to be. I know who this is. So the Canadian or Acadian. Are you doing testing in quarter or eighth mile trim? You're going to leave it in quarter mile trim. We've been leaving it in quarter mile trim. We leave the car in quarter mile trim because that's what we're testing for. So I don't want to change anything around. You know what I mean? Let's see. Hold on a second. I'm looking through. I'm scrolling through these. Oh, what happened to your screen? Oh, whatever. Um,
Oh, I hit mute
let's
and
see.
stop
When's our
video.
new next tuning classes? Actually, this weekend we have a tier 3 tuning class, and then we'll be uh, we'll be launching a couple of new dates in the next couple weeks. So let's see. I don't know what to do. I'm looking here.
We
Okay.
had like a big stutter and I think some people got
Recommendation on a good printer to print on heat shrink tubing, white font on black tubing. Um, Matt, are
yeah.
you still there? I don't know if he's still there. Anyway, you can use Johnny
Can
Tran.
you
That's funny.
can you
Lost
hear
crank
me over
signal.
there?
Um, for a black heat shrink printer or black heat shrink with white writing, we use an Epson PC 700, which is a little handheld unit, and then we also have another one that's a desktop unit that I have from RaceSpec, Joel Vince at RaceSpec. They both do black, but you have to order if you buy the desktop unit from Joel Vince at RaceSpec. He has white ribbon that he can sell you because normally it comes with yellow ribbon. So, and the ribbon color is what dictates the word color. So, but no, either one of them work good. If you're gonna do bulk, buy the setup from Joel. If you're just gonna do a handful of things here and there, use the Epson PC 700. Works great. So yes, Luke, Josh Tonsky is the guy who did the deep dive on Clearview. Uh, having a good wife is the key to happiness. I don't know about that. She ain't bad, but let's not bloat her head too much. You know what I mean? Let's see. Is our next wiring job on a whistling diesel project now? No, I have not heard at all from him. Nope, I don't think so. So, Johnny Tran, what changes did you make? Hold on a second. What happened to Happel?
So I said I'd be right back.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn off the.
Let's see. So,
Can you hear me?
sorry about that. What engine changes did you make from the Vert to the new car?
I don't
Saw
think
you
I can
selling the
hear
old
you.
motor. So my engine builder wanted to change a couple of things. He wanted to try a little bit different of a cylinder head, different camshaft. He wanted to increase compression a little bit. He wanted to increase cubic inch a little bit. So it was kind of like a wholesale change. It was just stuff that he wanted to try. So the new engine has got a little bit different design of a port for the cylinder head. Same cylinder head, just the port design's a little bit different that he wanted to try. A little bit different of a camshaft, which I hope isn't a mistake because the old cam was great for making power, but it also was very reliable. And but so far it seems to be fine. And it's 557 cubic inch instead of 540 cubic inch. So it's got a 4 3/8 stroke crank instead of a 4 1/4. So that's all that really changed with the engine. Um, let's see. Our converters. Oh,
Does the audio work? Can you hear me now, Devin?
I can hear you now. Finally, hopefully everybody heard me. I was
I could hear you and I could see the thing doing it, but we had like a stutter, and I think that's when I lost the audio. I had to reopen the chat, but now I think it's okay.
I can't see you.
Oh, you must have lost the. Something funny happened definitely with the. I lost you for a couple seconds, but it came right back, so I didn't even say anything about it.
Oh,
We'll just make
yeah.
sure all audio is okay. Okay, do you see me in the camera?
I can see you in the corner of the camera on YouTube, but I can't see you on the conference thing.
Yeah, something got screwy with that. I have to run for a second, so I'll just leave you guys to talk amongst yourselves and answer questions, but I'll be right back.
Okay. Um, where's I at here? So engine changes. Where's that? Oh, so RP turbo. The converter is considerably different between blower and turbo combos. Yeah, for sure. So the turbo stuff is again, in my opinion, the hardest stuff to tune. Like the real fast turbo cars are the hardest to tune, and they're also the hardest to build a converter for. I don't build torque converters, but everybody who builds torque converters tells me the high power turbo stuff is always the biggest pain in the ass to build a converter for. So the power delivery from a blower is very linear when it comes to like RPM. So let's just talk about centrifugal blowers for a minute because they're the more common. Centrifugal is like a Vortec or or a Pro Charger or Harch Charger or something. So as RPM increases with the engine and RPM increases with or the blower RPM increases with engine RPM, so boost increases. The converters on a turbos car got to be super loose and then have to get really, really tight up top, right? Because you need them loose to be able to spool. You want them loose so that they can flash, but they need to get really tight because not only do you want them to not slip like a pig going down the racetrack, but you also are about to like triple the amount of power you're going to put at it. So they have to couple very hard. Blowers, they can be pretty tight and they just run. I'm telling you, the blower stuff is like just it's an easy button for tuning real fast stuff. So, yeah, staging a turbo car is fun. You don't ever have to worry about that with a blower. It's just light the second bolt, put it to the floor. So don't tell them about Street Neat. We don't want to let the secret out. Yeah, you're right. We don't. Street Neat's an awesome event, and we have not launched dates yet, but I do know that Laura's got them all picked and everything, and worked out the deals with with the rest of the racetrack support. So, let's see here.
Oh, it's Cameron. We just
Somebody
talked
called me a
about.
235 Jesus. I don't know about that. We just got lucky. There's a good one. How many FT 700s have you seen actually work?
Oh
0.
boy.
Here's the number. Andrew, we'll see you. We'll see you when you come on out here. Let's see here. Are all G meters similar? No, no. So that's actually a really good question. G meter data is kind of weird to wrap your head around because in your mind you think that it should be this nice, like smooth, like arch, and then fall back down. And if your G meter data looks like that, then your G meter sucks, or whatever you're looking at it on is smoothed out too much. So like Fuel Tech's really good at smoothing out their data tremendously because they don't sample fast enough. So all their data looks nice and smooth. So we've had a couple guys that contact us and go, man, I'm switching from Fuel Tech to Holly, but I keep seeing that like all this G meter data from in Holly is like really choppy. And it's like, yeah, when was the last time you got in your car, your race car, and staged the car, let go of the trans brake button, and it felt like you were going down a racetrack on a Cadillac? It doesn't happen, right? So like, it's not nice and smooth. So it feels bumps. So the more jagged that G meter is, kind of the better. So there's sample rates for them. The G meter in a Haltech R5 is a piece of crap, period. Been down that road. That thing, whatever they got going on in there, terrible. The G meter in the Pro Dash from Holly is not usable for racing, period. Don't try to use it. We use a G meter from Davis Technologies called a VPS. It's a vehicle position sensor. Gives you X and Y axis for G and Z axis, which is vertical, right? It's like if you came off the ground. And then it also gives you roll, pitch, and yaw. So like if the car, if this is the car and this is the front of the car, this is, pitch, and then roll as if it went like this, and then yaw as if it drove side to side. So we use a VPS from Davis. The G meter from Race Pack or Holly, they work really well for 2-axis. The G meter from Plimpton Innovations works really well. We've used them. They work well. You don't want a G meter that's so slow that it doesn't catch problems. And that's really the whole point of it. So no, not all G meters are the same. Are you concerned with repairability if you brake on the road for drag and drive? I don't know what you're referring to for repairability, but like all this stuff is kind of custom, like if you're not going to be concerned about repairability on the side of the road, you probably drove a stock car and you probably have AAA. I mean, honestly, that's kind of like the way I have to look at it. Like we hope for the best and, but prepare for the worst. So we bring a lot of spare parts with us, but we've never really needed them. As far as stuff that we've broken when we're on a drag and drive, short of like catastrophic failures, has been all like really minor, lame stuff, nothing major. So, I guess not, but I'm going to carry a lot of spare stuff. So, we'll be able to repair it. So
I have
let's
some.
see.
I have some quick questions if you don't want to rip through there quick, or just
let's-
answer
oh, wow.
Cameron
Okay, here we go.
while I think about my next one.
Whoever Celis 330 is, I know Scott Duggins must have had a bump in sales. Yeah, so Scott, this is a little funny thing. So my engine builder is Par Racing Engines, Scott Duggins, awesome dude. They're in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and they do a lot of PDRA, Top Sportsman, and Top Dragster engines. IHRA, Top Sportsman, Top Dragster, like all the Top Sportsman, Top Dragster. They do a lot of engines in those categories. And you might think bracket racing, whatever, but these are like cars that are running, 380s and they're bracket racing them. Top Sportsman's fast, Top Dragster's fast, so he's got a reputation for building badass big block Chevrolets that run really well with Pro Chargers and and blow through carburetors of all things. So um, when I went to him for building a drag and drive engine, he was like, "You really going to drive this thing?" And I said, "Yeah." So okay. And he never thought that I would, and sure enough, we've done pretty well with its engines, and a lot of people have. We've got 3 of them here right now, so that we're wiring up. So yeah, he probably has that about sales. So whoever M.A. Simpson 86 is, he said, dude just keeps talking. All right, now I'll be quiet, and Matt's still off doing whatever he's doing, and we'll sit here and just stare at you into the camera. Does that sound good? All right, go.
Talk amongst yourselves. Yes,
All right, well, I'm done with that. So
yes, my other question was, so
can't do that anymore.
Michael
So
Narks had.
um,
Can you hear me?
if you can't yank timing away from a turbo car, what do you do for traction control? You can yank timing away from a turbo car. You just have to do a lot more of it than what you would think.
I don't think he
You
could
just have
hear
to do
me again.
way more of it than you think. So, like with a blower car, maybe you knock 4 or 6 degrees out of it and it falls on its face. Or not falls on its face, but slows way down. Uh, Turbo car, make that 15 to 20 degrees to kill it, because like you literally have to kill it. Like you've got to just kind of kill it to stop it from accelerating. Because if you pull 2 or 3 or 4 degrees out, you might learn that the car's faster. So you can't be soft with timing removal when it comes to traction for a turbo car, but you can be with a blower and nitrous stuff. So uh, what else we got?
Are you able to? Can you hear me, Devin?
Johnny Trans, that's funny. Mentioned fuel tech. My car just shut off on the freeway.
Yeah,
Sorry
I
about
think
that.
he should reconnect.
Uh, yeah, so where do you post your tuning training schedules at? On our website at hcrinnovations.com. And then Laura will post it also up on Facebook under our HCR page, HCR Innovations on Facebook, and whatever else she does. So, isn't boost control too slow for traction control? Yeah, yeah. You got any experience with trying to do that, Matt?
I don't think you can hear me. I don't think you can hear me.
You there?
I can.
Oh, he's not paying attention. Squirrel brain. Yeah, boost control is too slow for traction control. So, um, oh, you responded in the chat there. I see. So, you can't hear me? Huh? I hope you can hear me. I've been talking for a minute. No, I can't hear you. No, I cannot hear you. Oh, yeah, you're not muted, but I cannot hear you. Glad you can hear me though. I just saw your text. Sorry. Yeah. No, I can't hear you, buddy. I guess I'll just Rambletron until you figure it out. You oh, what was that?
Well, I keep switching it.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Stop switching.
I don't know what it is, but if you can't hear me, if I swap my inputs from something back to this, it works fine. Either way, they should hear it now because, well, they could always hear both of us. You were the one that couldn't hear me for
Oh, okay, okay.
the video program lost my audio to you. Everything else was fine. Weird as hell.
I got you. I got
I
you.
know
There we
they
go.
always love to say that. Maybe you should get an IT guy, blah blah blah. Well, why is the damn meeting breaking my audio source? Anyway, yeah, I'll try not to take that personally. I'm not a streamer over here.
Right.
F's in the chat or whatever those kids say. Clip that.
Yeah.
And then they
I don't know what any of that
manufacture
means.
drama and then they have drama. They have beef with other streamers. I don't know why I know this. I don't watch them. Anyway, where were we? Oh, Michael Narks asked, or did you finish answering your questions? I was
Oh,
kind
I
of
don't know.
not
I'm
paying
done.
attention because I was messing with this stuff so much. I apologize.
That's all right. That's why, like, when I said, "Hey, I'm just going to be quiet and we're going to stare at you," and I didn't hear anything from you, I was like, "Man, he's doing a really good job at that."
No, I heard
Yeah,
you. You're like, he's away on a ship, whatever.
yeah. uh,
Michael
uh,
Narks said, "What were your early incrementals?" I know you said you're 60 foot, or no, you were talking about a blower car. I know you just had trouble wheeling, so I don't know if you can really give everybody a good summary on that, or if you don't have enough data yet.
Well, I mean, we didn't really get to go fast at all, really. I mean, we went like 108 or 109 60 foot, but on the back tires. Um, one pass we coasted to like a 291 to the 330. Another pass, I think we went a 435 with like a big pedal wheelie and not a lot of power in it. So um, I think we're going to have a hot rod, but until the front end stays down, I can't really say that we're going to be worth a shit or not. You know what I mean?
This is a
Unfortunately.
good one. I think this is the same guy, or maybe someone else just asked this. Hey guys, what are your opinions on the straight gate? I know that Calvin just got one also.
I don't know who Calvin is, but I
Oh,
have a feeling Calvin's going to be pretty upset about what happens.
uh oh.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not a big fan. Um, so the straight gate's really cool the straight gate's really cool with in theory, right? The problem is that it leaks, right? So like no matter what, it like leaks CO2.
Oh, similar to one of those boost actuated exhaust valves. They just tick.
Yeah,
It's just normal. They can't, fully be sealed.
yeah, you can't fully seal it because then you'll never be able to open it properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
so maybe that's the problem with the straight gates. They just,
so the pneumatic straight gate does not seal worth a shit. The problem is that like when you like they don't respond well at low pressure, and you kind of have to tune them backwards. So like opening the straight gate keeps turbo shaft speed up, which is nice, decreases boost going into the motor, but that thing does not respond well. Like there's a local guy here that has one on a pretty healthy small block Chevrolet with a big single turbo on alcohol, and like I think like 7 or 8 pounds of dome pressure makes like 36 pounds of boost. So that makes tuning it difficult. You know what I mean?
wow. Yeah.
It's just a really small operating window,
Yeah.
Um, the E gates I'm out on. You'll never convince me to like them. I've seen too many failures from them. Maybe they fixed them and they don't fail closed now. I don't know.
Hmm.
But I know for a long time they were failing closed,
That's a good direction.
you know. So that's the old block splitter, you know. Um, I don't know. I mean, you see some of the guys that run the straight gates, they still have the real fast guys, they still have race gates on them. Like like Mark Mickey was like kind of the front runner with that, and he put wastegates back on the car because they were having a lot of problems without them. So
Diaphragm or piston.
yeah, diaphragm.
Do you
That's what
have
I
a
use.
preference with either one?
I really like. I know I sounded like I was just talking shit on Turbo Smart, but like I actually really like their products. I haven't had any failures out of their products, so it's like that's why I like them.
No,
Um,
yeah, it's fine to not like something they make.
yeah. But I don't really have a preference on the diaphragm versus piston deal. The piston deal, like in theory, should be better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think as far as beating up a part, especially with Chinese ones, the wastegate diaphragm can be pinched, broken, or something else wrong with it. And I feel like the piston, there's less of a chance of some sort of diaphragm issue. And I feel like if I swap them back and forth on the dyno, there's basically no difference. The the very smallest marginal difference I can tell is they overshoot a tiny and then come down.
Yeah.
Like I'll see on a log, it almost looks like CO2 that's late or just aggressive. It'll
Yeah.
over like a half or a full pound and then come down and level out.
The 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 all I've never had a failure. Are you talking or no?
I'm
I can't
not,
hear
no,
you.
I'm just adjusting.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, like so, like the I've never had a failure from a diaphragm, but I'm pretty meticulous about maintenance and stuff. So, um, but I know a lot of people have had failures from diaphragms. The piston to me seems like the better. move for the majority of people because like most people aren't going to do what I do when it comes to like going over, checking things. You know what I mean? So those are more of like a kind of a set it and forget it type of deal, and they live kind of forever. But I would also, if I did, I will say, not too long ago, we had a car here that had piston gates on it, and we wound up like they were um, so far out of line that like the valve really needed to be lapped. Like they didn't seal up worth a shit.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
I
So
do. Yeah, it makes me want to check mine out just to make sure.
they were way far out. So like some lapping compound and some time and you can fix it. But
Yeah, I
either
mean,
way,
I'm pretty sure mine's good because I had the fire ring and I was checking everything, and I if there was a gap, I would have been attentive.
right, right, right.
So I had a
So
question about what transmissions in the new car, and then Cameron had some good questions about fire suppression. Then we can go over.
so the transmission is it's a turbo 400 from Rossler. Um, and it's a close ratio. So it's 151 first gear, 126 second gear, 10, third gear. It's a lockup transmission. Um, all the big shafts. I don't really know all the ins. I mean, he's gonna like want to grill me about every detail. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know transmissions that I know.
Cameron, you should know me by now. Where I just called Rossler and said, "Hey, man, this is what I want to do. Can you just build me something sweet?" And they
Yep.
did.
Sometimes
That's
it's
what we got.
not. It's sometimes it's nice to not know and just have someone else that does it do it.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of that, man. Like, I
I'm
don't stick
learning
my
it.
nose in stuff. Yeah, it takes a while to let go of having to be involved in every single detail of everything. But like with my engine, like if any, like I had like a rear main seal leak that pissed me off enough to pull the engine out and bring it to him. And he's like, "What are we doing?" I was like, "You need to get the rear main seal to stop leaking." He's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "It just drips just a little bit." I'm like, "Yeah, you fix it." And like I pulled it out with intake and like valve covers and everything still on. I'm like, "Here you go. Like this is your baby." You know what I mean? Like just send me the bill, whatever. But I just don't want to deal with this leak. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't. Could
On
I
my
have changed the
last,
rear main seal? Yeah,
yeah,
but I'm not going to do it.
on my last 2500, it's funny. Like I did the turbo, the tuning, and everything, and my friend was at the dyno with me, and I made like eight and change, and I was like, "That's awesome! I'm quitting." And I went to pull off the dyno, my brake pedal went to the floor. I blew out the rotted brake lines. Even though the truck was clean, the brake lines are always like look like scabs.
Yeah,
But he owned a shop right down the road on Airport Road, and I was like, I'm just taking this to your shop and you guys charge me whatever. I do not want to touch. It's funny, I'll bolt on everything. I'll take the whole front of the engine apart to do but brake lines and transmissions, I just don't want to touch them. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm sorry, I will pay you whatever you want, but I'm not doing this.
yeah, yeah. No, for sure. Well, agreed. Uh, Cameron asked about using a GM intake air temp sensor underneath the hood to trigger a fire suppression system. Like if it maxes the sensor instantly to play with fire bottles. No way I would trust to do that.
Engine temperature is also through the roof, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially on a
So
pass.
engine bay temperature, yeah, but there's no way I would trust that because if an intake air temp sensor fails, it fails high.
Oh, and it would just blow everything.
Yeah. So like if you fail a sensor, MSP T-Rex. What PDM would be easier for someone with low IQ to program and wire? Man, I really like the hardwire PDMs. I really do. We use a lot of them, and I'm a big fan of them. They like depends on how low IQ you are. I mean, you were able to form a complete sentence there. You use decent punctuation. Um, you know what I mean? Like there's a question mark at the end. Like I don't feel like you're that dumb. I think that you'd be perfectly fine with handling programming a hardwire PDM. Um, if you like the key to all these things, like all these electrical devices that you have to program, like your EFI system and your PDM and all that kind of stuff, the key to it is just invest a little bit of time into it. Not be afraid of it. Like just spend a little bit of time just looking around and playing with it, and like you'd be surprised with how far you can go. I know that like my brain works different than your brain, and your brain work, and everybody else's brain works different from everybody's. But if you find something that you can adapt what you're looking at to something you already know, it makes life so much easier. Like if you already know the ins and outs of, like earlier I explained Laura's heart like an oil pump because that's what makes sense to me. Like I understood her heart problem more like an oil pump because it's easier for me to relate to than understanding all the different valves and everything in her heart. I don't need to know all the minutiae. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
just need to know how this thing works and how it's supposed to work. And it's the same thing with like a PDM. It's like you don't need to understand what's going on in the hardware. You just need to know how to make it do what you want it to do. And I think that if you just kind of like download, and this is with anything, like download the software and play with it a little bit and just try to like make a light, like try to figure out how to program how to make a light turn on. And then once you accomplish like turning a light on, you're gonna be like, oh, well, it is easy. I could
Yeah.
probably make it flash also. Oh, well, then I could definitely make a starter work. Well, this is simple. And then you just keep building off of that. You'd be surprised with like an hour or two of just like no distractions time invested into it, how far you can go.
Hmm.
And that's the key to it, is like no distractions, right? So like no TV on in the background, phone on silent, do not disturb, no kids yelling or whatever, no friends over, like no football game on or none of that crap. Like just dedicate, like turn Facebook off, all that crap, and just dedicate, an hour or two to the software, and you'll be like, wow, this is way easier than I thought it was going to be. At least that's the way I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, I do the same thing. People have told me also, so hopefully I'm not making it up. But I would do the classes and I could do the same thing. I could understand it on so many levels. I would change what I'm comparing it to until someone understood it.
Yeah,
Same thing. You just go
yeah,
right to something ridiculous and say that. And as soon as
yeah,
the light lights up in their eyes, you're like, yeah, see, it's not that
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. It's not hard, right? Right, right. Like, like in my classes, like when we teach EFI stuff, like I try to always relate it to something that's like tangible that they can see and feel and touch and understand. Um, so that it's very like transparent, like, oh, that's what this means. Now I get it. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
like if somebody's like looking at a VE table, they have no idea what that is. Like if somebody who's never tuned anything before, they're like, what is this VE? What is that? You know what I mean? Is this
Yes.
magic? And it's like if you
Yes.
can make that if you can make that relatable to something that's tangible, like it's pretty simple.
Yeah. I do it unconsciously in my head, and then
Right.
yeah, but then same thing. If someone's struggling, you just bring it around till they get it. And I've said this for years. If you can't explain something like that fully in multiple levels of explanation, you don't truly understand it.
Correct. There's quite a few people that truly don't understand it, but they will tell you that they know everything about it.
That's all I learned with getting into vehicles by myself, not listening to anybody's
Yeah.
whatever they learned that was incorrect.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that don't know what they've got going on, like what they're actually doing, but they'll insist that they're right.
Yes,
Um,
including myself. It's me. I'm him. You ever see that meme?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
me.
yeah,
I'm him.
yeah.
Just at me.
What's your favorite crimper for DT, DTM, and DTP? Um, for DTM and DT, I like using an MH860 with the correct turrets or locators. Sorry. For a DTP, I use an AF8. It's an airframe 8, but made by DMC. You can also use an AFM 8 for DTM, but they don't make a turret or a locator for an AFM 8, which is the mini for a DT. So that's why I prefer the MH860. There's probably three people that understood what I just said. That's okay.
I use three $30 Amazon crimpers, and they're amazing. One is the DTM, one's a DT, and one's a DTP. And I showed him, I had a video where I showed all of them, and they're all roughly $30, and they work amazing. I think one of the brands that's really good that's recognizable is iWis.
Mhm.
They make a lot of that stuff. I know you said you use the. You and Troy said you like the $30 ones more than the crazy adjustable stuff. Some
Well,
cases.
I like the $30 economy crimpers, like the open barrel crimpers, not the closed barrel stuff. Yeah.
Yes, that yeah. So I do both. It just depends on some of the stuff I get in bulk for connectors or on the strip, and then
Oh yeah, yeah. So
open
they're
end.
formed contacts. Yeah, formed
Yeah, and
contact.
then
Yeah,
I like the solid barrel ones, but sometimes I just get so many of the others. I use those on a lot instead of using. Well, I use the cheap ones a lot because I end up changing so much. Also,
sure.
I'll
Yeah,
forget
we
stuff or
we uh
crimp it wrong.
we use everything solid barrel here. Everything solid barrel that we
Yeah,
can that they
I would
make that solid
assume.
barrel.
Yeah,
You know, yeah, we use everything solid barrel and we use all gold contacts as much as we can. So but yeah, the MH860 is probably my favorite crimper. Um, so so I don't know. There's probably been about 20-ish thousand crimps ran through each one of them that are here, and I think there's like four of them here, and I never failure or problem. Broke a couple locators, but just because they weren't locked in all the way, and I smashed them, whatever.
yeah.
But you know, uh, somebody said, Devin and Matt, what has been your favorite car you have owned?
Oh, I missed that. That's a good question. You want to go first or what?
Man, I think everybody here already knows what my favorite car was that I ever owned.
The Vert, probably.
Nope,
The Stealth.
nope, the Festiva.
Oh, the Fastiva. Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite car.
What a vehicle.
Yeah, it was just such a unit. Like no, like you just like that was one of
Nothing.
those things that like you
That's
could
the
leave the
joy.
keys in it.
You're chasing that joy for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I am. I am. And the problem is, and I thought about this because like I could buy another one and like build another one, right? Like
But then
you
now
know what's gonna
you
happen.
can't help yourself from not overdoing it now. It was
Right.
better when it was like the turbo sucked and this and you just put it together and it was funny. But now you're
Yeah, like
like I
everything.
could probably
Yeah.
do a standalone and a dash and it's not that much
Oh yeah.
harder and then all of a sudden it's not as cool as it was.
Right. Like that's the thing. Like I can't go back to doing that way. And like
Well, I
you're
remember
right.
asking you, I'm like, how is this tuned? You're like, it's not.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
it's just breathing through the trapdoor thing that's directly attached to the turbo inlet with nothing smoothing it. And I'm like,
Well,
well,
we had an
how is
FMU on
this?
it.
What's that?
We had an FMU, so we raised fuel pressure.
Yeah, I was laughing because I was really starting to understand stuff and I knew you had a shop and all of that stuff back then. And I think you were out of the shop by the time I met you. So you did that
Yeah.
so long ago. But yeah,
Yeah.
it'll never be. I always tried to describe to people it was like if you're in a playground and they have those things on the spring and it stays in one spot and the whole body moves. That's what that car felt like. You were along for the it was rolling in all directions. And it had like same thing that's on my K truck. It had like 12s, right?
Yeah.
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 And
Dude, it was so much fun.
it made an immediate 205 horsepower and 245 foot-pounds.
Yeah.
And
Like it and it's just fun.
and it weighed like 1,600. I don't know what that weighed, but I know it was nothing.
Yeah, it like dude, that thing was just so much fun. I love
Yeah.
that car.
Well,
That was
Johnny's
my favorite
right.
car.
He just said Fastiva 2 is going to be Snowball Turbo K Series. And yeah, it would just not be what it was. It'd be
Yeah, it's just
hard.
yeah,
It'd be hard for me to reel myself in to do that.
right. Like I couldn't stop myself from like making it a $75,000
I
Festiva.
know. I get it now, like people that overdo it, but I still cranked out my truck in like 3 weeks, not putting that much time into it.
Yeah. I don't know if I have that in me anymore. I just don't know. I don't know because I've been like so focused on always trying to make things better. And like, I
Yeah.
just don't know if I can do it anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why I laugh because Cameron Johnson, I saw that he's had a couple of like what I would build, and he's like, "This is fantastic," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, no kidding, bud, no kidding."
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the Green Festiva. Yeah, the one day you were somewhere else, and I
I
forget.
was in Las Vegas.
I can't remember. I was like, "Hey, I don't remember if I asked you or you just told me or if it was a little bit of both, but I ended up going up there and just like grabbing the keys or the keys were in it. I don't remember.
Mhm.
And it was parked on
Yeah.
the side of the street and it was snowing and I took it.
Yeah. No, that was like I left the keys in it all the time because I was just like, whoever
No
wants to
one's
use it, go ahead.
yeah, no one's taking this. The
Well,
abuse
I
that
mean,
that thing took was just, I mean, part of it
well,
was it would spin, so it couldn't really hurt itself in a
right,
good way. So
right.
it was an absolute animal and was fun, but
Oh, it was so much fun. I love that car so much. That's probably my favorite one. You know,
just because you don't
um,
like my older 2500, I want to do this to this one too, but start a burnout, blow over a curb, through someone's yard, leaving a black mark in the road and mud in the rights. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a
yeah,
shit? It's a 2500,
right, right, yeah,
and it's a
yeah,
crappy one, and it's hammered. So what are you gonna do with
right,
it?
right.
All the worst
Yeah,
you can do is rot it, and then have to buy another motor for under $1,000.
dude. I mean, I'm telling you, like this my new car, this S550. A lot of people are like, man, that thing's amazing. But and like, yeah, it is. It's a really nice car. We built a really nice car, right? And it should be really fast. It's very nice. But man, I'm never gonna get the joy out of that thing that I did at that Festiva. Like
No
never.
kidding.
Like it won't happen. You
That's
know
why
what
I
I mean?
said
Like
you're chasing that high when you're getting into
yeah,
cars and you have something that retarded, and then you can like
yeah.
never go back to that.
And the bummer is that like I had that thing in a time in my life that I couldn't appreciate how awesome it was.
I agree. It's gone now, and I'm like, we bring it up often enough, and people are like, "Man, that would be fantastic," and I'm like, "It would," and we all feel
It,
the same way. And then the guy that bought it from you was a douche. I remember.
he was, yeah, he was,
He
yeah.
like immediately put race car tires on it, broke the tranny, and was asking you how to upgrade it or fix it. And you were
Yeah.
like, "It's not supposed to have slicks on it, Chief."
Yeah, you're supposed to just go do burnouts and have fun.
Yeah,
And
it's
like,
like having a Gen 1 CTSV and putting a Nitto on it. You are just asking.
yeah, I mean, it was a bad time in my life to have that car because like I could have been like so much better. But like, I remember driving that thing and then coming home and like we were out at a bar or whatever. And I was like, somebody was like, man, I bet you can't flip that thing over. And, and it was just parked there in the
You
backyard,
mean
you know?
lift it. I remember this, but
Yeah.
everybody
And
else,
I
not
did.
flip it while you drive it.
Yeah,
They meant
no,
you
just
couldn't
flipping.
flip the car over, which
Yeah, yeah.
they said
So like
that
I flipped it over.
because they knew you could, because you
Yeah,
were
yeah,
like twice the size you are now, which is hard
yeah,
to imagine, people, but it was
yeah,
true. And he
yeah.
asked you because he knew you could and he wanted to see it happen.
And he knew I was drunk enough to do it. And I said,
My
all right,
opinion is you would just
yeah.
gorilla it over. Yeah.
Oh, I did. And I did. And I did. And I flipped it. And I woke up the next morning.
I had it after that. It was all
Yeah, yeah,
hammered on the side when
y-
Cody and I were
yeah,
driving it. And I was
yeah.
like, "What happened?" And you're like, "I flipped it." Someone said I wouldn't.
But it was so funny. I woke up the next morning and the car was on its side, you know, and there was two cops sitting outside, like looking at it because it's in the backyard, flipped over on its side. And I walk out and I was like, oh, what happened here? You know, and they're like, what happened to this car? And I was like, oh, it looks like it flipped over. Yeah, I know. Well, how? And I was like, I don't know. I probably did it. He said, what do you mean? I was like, I was drinking. I don't
It's in
know.
my backyard. I
I was like,
proudly
it
did
is
it.
in my backyard
How
though.
did
So like,
someone
what's the
steal it
trouble?
and roll it in my yard?
And it was like so gentle of a roll. Like the windows didn't even like the windows were rolled down, so they didn't even the
It
side
has
windows
no
didn't break or
weight to
nothing.
hurt itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I remember like flipping it and then like calming it down before it like landed. I like grabbed a hold of it and I was like, oh, calm down, don't flip too hard, you know. And that
It's like putting your
There,
foot out. It's like dropping an air tool and putting your foot out. To
yeah, exactly. Yeah, same
me,
deal.
a
Right.
distinguished gentleman, just kick
Yeah,
it with your foot to slow it down.
yeah. That was honestly that thing was the greatest car to have ever had I've ever had in my possession. So
It
yeah,
was
I,
fantastic.
I loved it. So
And the turbo is
um,
like in sticking out of the grill because it was
it
the
was so awesome.
Miata turbo kit on that
Yeah,
engine, right?
yeah,
And wasn't it it was called a BP, right? So that had a BP.
yeah. It's the
So
one
that was
point
an
eight liters.
engine
That
and a turbo actually.
well, it was the Escort GT motor.
Yeah, people might not realize it was just a turboed stock engine. It was actually had a twin cam and
Yep.
then like a disco potato on it or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was pretty awesome. Um,
We'll answer
yeah,
some questions here before we go on too many. Oh,
yeah,
they
yeah.
wanted to
Ramble
know what my
Drive.
favorite was, and honestly, it's tough. I have no emotional attachment to vehicles, so I've built them and they're fun. But when I sell them, I don't think I need to get that back. I miss it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, because I've built so many Fairmonts in a row, and I don't know if I'll build more. But this is all already my seventh one and the third combo in each one, including this car already has its third combo. I don't know. None of them are my favorite. I always like just putting the cars together. That's hard. Is that I feel like this is a poor answer, but it is my answer.
Yeah. No, and that's fair. You know what I mean? That's perfectly fair, you know?
Someone says, "When's
Uh,
the last time I drove my Mustang?" I wanted to talk about that. Not that long ago, but I have a transmission issue right now, and Cameron will probably be up here at some time, so he's just going to build a replacement, and I'm going to have a day where I just swap it and give him the other one back immediately, and then he can let me know what happened to that one or whatever. Because what I don't want to do is all of our cars run, move, drive, inspected, insured. Ridiculous. I don't want to have a car that's broken in my driveway or broken in my garage for extended period of time.
um,
But yeah, my right now it has the transmission's not great. I can still move it around. It's in limp mode. It sounds like it's grinding parts, but it starts, runs, and drives. But I mean, I put the 4.8 in it and everything, and I was driving it around, and it was fun. And I was like, oh, I'll go to the dyno this weekend, and the tranny was starting to be funny, and I was like, yeah, this is how this car treats me. This is
yeah.
normal. The other thing I was considering is I have a 6L80E, and that car has a Dominator, but if I backdate it to like a Terminator X, I can put a 6L80E in it, which has an interest to me. I also have an 8 HP. Do I want to go through? Do I want to put one of these in and see if I like it, or just put an 80E in? Anyway, this is all stuff I'm thinking about because I have an 8 HP. I have a 6L80, and that has a 4L80. Anyway, I'm in the middle of
Funny
all
about that
that.
8
What's
that
that?
that 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 8 HP transmission,
Yes.
like everybody's all jazzed up about that thing, right? So uh I saw like a post in one of the Holly groups, I think it was, where like I think you made the post, right? It said like if Holly was watching this or whatever, what are the things that you want, you know? And
Yeah, because Keith, sorry,
yeah,
people don't know who he is anyway. He had asked me because he said, I'm going to talk. So, what are things? And then obviously, I'm assuming if it's easily implemented, they want to do that before they are done releasing something. Oh, that's what someone also asked. Is there anything newer? And if you can give out any information about it, I wanted to say that too.
um Holly is a an aftermarket automotive performance company who supplies the general public with aftermarket automotive performance parts, and they're always working to evolve and grow. So they are using their EFI builders, and I'm sure that there is probably something in the pipeline, and I can't tell you a damn thing about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm assuming there is stuff too. They let me know when other people can know because they know I can't not tell people. I respect them.
Yeah, well, no, it's 100% in the. I mean, I can say that. Yeah, there's a new ECU. Yeah, 100%. There's a new ECU.
Version
Hell, they
2
made that.
hardware. Yeah, I've heard that. I wish.
Yeah, well, they made that public in a shareholders meeting, so like that's on them. Like that's not me breaking my NDA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, but I can't tell you much about it. I will tell you that I'll say this: the new hardware will be the perfect fit for 95% of the market.
Hmm.
The absolute perfect fit for 95% of the market. I mean, like, there's still, like, in the world of EFI, there's only one, maybe two different companies that can do what a Dominator does. There's only, but and you're not gonna, and you still can't do everything.
I was laughing audibly so hard when they brought when Cameron Johnson, because it looks like they use Fuel Tech a lot. They had their own wiring guy for Eagle,
Mm-hmm.
and I could. It was funny because the minute they saw what you did, they were like, "Shit."
Yep. Yep.
Because and then what I was laughing was they were putting the Fuel Tech in the 65 boxes, and then when Mullet was there, I think it was actually they announced a car that James was going to build, and he had the
Yep.
Dominator, and he's like, I have never seen or understood that there could be an ECU this large with this many connectors locally. And
Yep.
James or someone was like, "This is going." He's like, "What is it going to do for whatever? It has two wide bands. What's it going to do for?" And he was like, "I can't believe this exists, and I didn't know about it."
Yep.
And I'm like, "Man,
Yep.
it's at least 10 years old. I don't. When did that come out? In like 2010? I forgot to ask Holly when it came out, because it's funny to tell people that's 15-year-old hardware, and it's still
Yeah,
that
I
good.
think it's about 13 years old, and yeah, I mean, like the thing, like it's gotten a couple of hardware updates, like hard part updates over the years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, just because of like you can't get certain processors or chips or whatever. But either way, that thing's still like you download V6 Build 400, you can do more. You can do more in Holly than you can in Hall Tech. Argue with me all you want. I've done them. Fuel Tech by a mile. Fuel Tech is probably the most overrated and under functioned ECU on the planet.
it's also like 4 times or at least twice as expensive as comparable Holly, which obviously will do more. We sound like Holly fanboys, but it's true.
Oh yeah,
Like the 100 IO is something people don't understand that they have. And then anything going in or out is a usable data stream for
yep.
every single table.
Yeah. It's like well, I did a Fuel Tech FT 600 in Doug Cook's car, that pumpkin spice car.
Oh boy.
Uh, yeah. Well, he asked me to do it, and Doug's been my I've known Doug for a while. We've been friends for a while, and he asked me to do it, and he wanted me to kind of just branch out and look into doing other stuff that I don't normally do.
Yeah.
And I was thankful that he pushed me into it because um, I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So uh, we did this FT 600, and this is what I can say about Fuel Tech as a company, as a product, as the whole nine yards. I'm being 100% honest and transparent here. I called, I left a voicemail the first time because I had some questions. 3 hours later, they called me back. They explained that the reason it took so long for the call back is because nobody wanted to call me back because of who I was, and they were afraid I was going to ask questions that were going to be fucking impossible to answer. So whatever. Like the guy was cool. Like the guy was really cool, right?
Yes.
Um, and uh, and they they answered the questions that I had. I didn't get the answers I wanted, but they answered the questions that I had. And the one kid, I said, man, maybe I can accomplish what I want to accomplish through CAN, you know. So the guy that I talked to was like, well, I'll get you the DBC file that we have and yada yada. I said, okay. The bummer was the DBC file broadcasted about 6 things. Holly's DBC file, like the Holly CAN bus is broadcasting everything all the time, and It was very, I couldn't control the transmission cooler fan independently. That seems so retarded to say for somebody who is savvy with like Holly,
Yeah, I've heard
but I
there's
could
so
not.
many nuances, but it's a lot of people, it's their first jump in, so they think, you know, they think it's great.
Well, that's the thing is like you get into fuel tech and you're like, okay, cool. Um, why would why would you want to do this or why would you want to do that? Like when you ask, like, well, can you turn on your transmission fan independently from your other two engine cooling fans? Well, no, but you just turn it on at the same time as when the engine temps up to 100. Why? Why would I do that? Why can't I turn on? Like there's just no custom IO at all, and that's one of the biggest, most powerful things with Holly. There's no ability for thinking outside of the box. I don't
It
know.
reminds me of Megasquirt stuff because I like the ECU, but the firmware, software, all done by outside contractors. Visually, the same thing happens. Like if you check you want to do something, you can only use like B21 or something.
Right,
It'll be
right, right,
like
right.
this is B21, and if you enable something else, that wants B21. So you can't just pin drop. That's the what's funny is when you show someone the pin drop, initially they're like, it's so alien, they get confused. But once you drop one or two things, they're like, oh wow, this is the easiest thing I've ever seen. I can just create stuff and worry about pinning it later. A lot of the systems like that, you have to, like Haltech that I've seen, I haven't done a lot with it at all. But to do stuff, you have to enable stuff in weird, anyway. It's just not what I'm accustomed to. But yeah, yeah, the IO,
Yeah,
the if then else stuff is so powerful on Holly. You just have to have your imagination because I'll show people, I'll do a 3D table that is the boost control based off of a dial input with a flex amount. So if you
right.
have regular gas in it, is neutering the effectiveness of the dial. And then with ethanol, it lets you have the full sweep of the dial. But when you tell someone like that, is they're like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, you can just, and now what you want to do is add vehicle speed to that. And they're like, yeah, it starts to easily run away from them, but it's neat to tell them that you can lock all of these things into any tables.
Yeah, I mean, like, so Turbo Jixer, I don't know who that is.
Kenny Sampson.
Oh, okay.
He does a
Um,
lot of Haltech.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know who he is. I just
So
didn't know who
say it
the username.
sucks.
I don't like Holtec had some major flaws in my opinion. We put an R5 in a car. We put an R5 in Josh's blower car, and it was there for 3 weeks. Then we took it out. Um, and I'm not talking like I don't want to talk about bad about Haltech because I'll tell you this: I took a fuel map from I took a fuel map from Holly, dumped it into Haltech, and it fired right up and ran beautifully. Right.
So it has
So like
real
I took a V.
VE. Yeah.
Right. So like that was fine. Their software is a little bit too cumbersome for the majority of people. I didn't struggle with it. I just there was a couple of things that I was like, this is
Also, the
stupid.
older ones, I hate to say it, interrupt you, but it would take like 10 whole minutes to connect and download to do something with the
Right. Yeah, the
non-Nexus
elite.
software. And I was like,
Yeah,
I'm quitting because of simply how long it's taking for me to get on a standalone ECU.
right. I've said this multiple times though. Like the Hall tech stuff, it's not for everybody. It's more for somebody who's willing to like invest a bunch of time into learning it. I had some time invested into it. There were some problems with it that we just at the time when we had like I was out on it. The O2's dropping off constantly. That was dog shit. And the
They're
fact
CAN
that
bus too, right?
yeah,
The O2
um,
boxes. Are there any with an onboard O2?
we had
Kenny.
an R5. I can't remember. Was it R? I can't remember. I know. I think it was on board. I can't recall. I
Well,
mean, it
on
was
the
an
R5,
R5.
I would assume it is because that's
I
a
believe
newer
it's. I'm
product.
pretty sure it was on
I'm
board.
talking about the older
Yeah,
ones, so maybe it
yeah. No,
does.
the yeah
R
the
and S
the
series are on board. But the
Yeah.
older one, yeah, okay.
We had NTKO2s, which we were told was the best thing to use. We dealt directly with Haltech with a really smart guy, a great guy to deal with too over at Haltech. And that was like the bummer of it. The whole reason we tried the Haltech thing on Josh's car is because we wanted we wanted to find a new EFI system for Josh to work with for his customer base, right?
You don't want to
And
only know completely one, also, even if it's only 10% of another one. At least you understand strengths, weaknesses, and yeah.
well, I play with all of them. I have a good bit of time invested into all of them. You know what I mean? I really do. But
What
I was
about
like, man,
Ace's EFI?
no, 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 no,
What's
that
the
doesn't
other
count.
one? It's Aces and
Tech.
Phytech. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but no, I mean, like, Haltech doesn't have in my opinion, the R5 is half of an ECU and half of a PDM.
Yeah, and
So like,
I'm not the smartest, but Mike from AEA Electronics says the same thing I was thinking. Well, there's so much current next to a board or even attached to the most sensitive part. Like there's the most power and the most sensitive part right next to each other.
well, I'm not even. Yeah, no, I agree that, but I'm not even going to down them for that. I don't think that that's a down. Like, I don't think that it's a thing to down them about,
Okay.
right?
Well, that means a
Um,
lot because you would know.
I really don't think that that's a thing that because like you're not seeing this like huge rash of R5s that are just failing.
Okay.
So I think that like they've got the hardware sorted for that. I think but my gripe with it is with the R5 is that to me it's half of a PDM and half of an ECU. So when you look at the PDM side of the R5, it has like a handful of like 2 amp outputs. It's like, okay,
I understand what you mean.
fine.
It's like a old school smartphone was neither a smart device or a phone well.
Right. Right. It didn't do either of them well. I feel like they should have taken the size of the R5 and made it a full blown this is going to be our ECU, and it could have had more IO, more functionality built into it. But instead, they dedicated half of it to, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's half of an ECU, half of a PDM. Like, sure, it's got some 10 amp outputs and stuff, and that's fine. And it's got some 15 amp outputs, and you can bridge them together and yada yada. But like, I feel like they would have just been better if you want to make it all in one. Great, you don't have enough connectors to do everything you want to do. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
That's
So
my
like, you only got
issue every
half the
time I
amount of
see
stuff I need.
yeah. Every time I see an ECU and it has two connectors, I'm like, okay, that's like a base model product. Because even again, the Holly fanboy, like a Terminator X Max still has four connectors.
Yeah.
And even though
Um,
that's like a budget whatever ECU, you're like, oh, a fantastic amount of connectors on this.
well, like Holtec's big thing, like when the R5 first came out, everybody said, "Oh man, it's all in one. It's all in one. It's all in one."
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you can't run your street car strictly off of an R5. You're
No.
out of outputs. You just don't have it, which is okay. So now they came out with their PDM. I think it's like the PD16 or something like that that you add on to it, which was definitely a good move. And then they increased more outputs with the UC10 dash. Like there's more IO in the dash now, so they're turning it more into like a Motec logical thing, like a business move, which makes sense. Uh, and it's gotten better. But when the R5 was first released, it was said, "Man, this is going to be like this is all in one. It's all in one box."
End all
It's the
be
same.
all.
Yeah, it's like maybe I just kind of got like I put my like hopes up here with marketing,
Hmm.
and then reality hit, and I was like, that's a bummer.
I was
You know what I
also
mean?
very interested in it was coming out. I'm like, man, and then I saw the same thing. I'm like, oh wow, PDM, but then exactly the same. It only really has enough power to like feed the harness it's connected to anyway. You have to
Right. It's like
combine so much of it. You're wasting so much of it that you should have just wired a physical relay.
right. Like I don't know. I mean, again, the other side of that though is that Holtec software is a little bit too it's a little bit too cumbersome for the average user. I enjoyed it. I liked Holtec software, the NSP software.
Way
There was
better
some
than the
things.
old, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There were some things in the NSP software. Now this is like 2 years ago that they've probably fixed by now or whatever. But I had the last time I looked at it was probably about 7 or 8 months ago, and I didn't really dig deep into it either. Um, but 2 years ago, there were some things in the software that were just kind of messed up, and I think Rick and the rest of the guys over at Hall Tech probably worked to fix that. I'm sure. Um, but I just, to me, like there's still like it just doesn't have. There's just some functionality that just isn't there that like is at least at the time that just is kind of dumb that it's not there. Um, yeah, so he says the problem with Haltech is it's not as strong as fast as the Motec hardware. Yeah, um, Motec stuff is super nice. We're actually going to be dealing with Motec here this coming year. Um,
That's one thing I'm interested in seeing on a vehicle because I hear there's custom firmwares, there's other stuff, there's stuff that people put on only as their shop. So the interface and what it's doing is different. Does that make sense, or am I wrong in what I heard?
no, you're not wrong. So like the reason that they do the custom firmware stuff is so that you can prioritize certain things and have the the strength of Motec is its processors. You know the power of Motec is you you have a processor and you have steps in software that are dedicated, and they don't have to do every single step along the way and then come back and do it every single one of them again. So you do a custom firmware that's designed for exactly what you want.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I've heard. Like the custom Viper stuff is for a Viper and can and for the display. Like I've seen the crazy stuff on a Calvo one where same with those R8s and whatnot, the twin turbo V10 R8s and all that stuff. The Motec is so well integrated with every single thing. It's ridiculous. And then what I've also learned is you don't need to add a bunch of sensors for the standalone. It steals all of them over the can, or some of those devices actually completely replace the stock ECU and still do all of the crazy stuff that comes on Lambos and things like that while
so
it's
there's
doing the standalone.
there's a friend of mine who does road race stuff. They do a plug-in to the Porsches. Um, that it's from Cyvex, but they have a plug-in from
Yep, I've
Cyvex,
heard of that
and
too. Yeah,
they literally unplug the factory ECU, they plug it in, and everything works exactly the way it's supposed to, and it already runs like exactly the way
I
it
had
would from the factory.
Hank Iros on from Iros Motorsports. It does
Yeah,
almost exclusively all the Daza, the 5-cylinder Audi engine, and
yeah,
that's when I first learned that is it's a Cyvex. You were talking about Motec. I couldn't think of Cyvex, but
yep,
yeah, you have. He said a lot of times on a car that's a different combination, he just plugs the Cyvex in and does all the tuning and learns what he needs to learn, and then does that on a stock ECU. So when he
yeah.
has to tune a stock ECU car, he actually does initial everything on the Motec or the Cyvex, and then makes sure the car is worth his time to spend on the stock ECU. And then he
Right, right.
explained that people don't want to go Cyvex because it costs like $4,300, but they're spending 100 grand on a 1100 horsepower Iros setup. And I was like, don't these people understand how cheap a car that's that complex, you can just
Dude, it's
replace the
so cheap,
ECU, and then all the stuff
so
in the
true.
dash changes to flex fuel, and like none of it existed before. That's only
Right.
4 grand. Like, are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
yeah. That's so dumb.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Kenny
you know
just
that
said below a 90K engine to save 3 grand on an ECU.
it's such a weird mentality amongst people. Like I don't look at that kind of stuff that's going to control my 300 or 200 or $100,000 car. I don't look at that as like where can I save the most money? You know what I mean? I guess I just don't. I don't know. I guess it just doesn't make sense to me to like even if you've got 50 grand wrapped up into a car, which I mean, and I know you do things on the low end budget, and like you like you have a lot of resources though, right?
Yeah,
So like it's not like
I mess with a bunch of high horsepower cars and I see the economical effect of joy on people. Like you said, it's not fun. Like that car will never bring you the joy that the stupid Fastiva did.
right. But like what I'm getting at is that like the majority of the people that are out there messing around with these cars, it's not hard for them to put 50 grand into a car,
No, super easy.
right? So like um so why would you so if you got $50,000 in a car, why are you worried about how can I save like 300 bucks on
Yeah, yeah.
making sure that everything works with it? You know what I mean?
Well, that's
It doesn't make sense to me.
similar to like Cameron. He wasn't on to hear that, but I get $50,000 engine, $100,000 chassis. What can I get for $1,000 for a transmission?
Right, right. Yeah, like it's insane, you know? I don't know.
Or ten
I don't want to
thousand
get into
dollars in
EFI. I don't want to get,
wiring is
yeah,
offensive to them when you know
yeah. It's ridiculous. So I don't know.
a
Let's
China
see.
close ratio,
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
a
what's that company that rips off
Timu
everybody?
monster.
Is that what it is? No, 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 they rip off everybody. Um,
That's so
come
funny,
on,
Kenny.
Speedmaster.
Oh yeah, I know who that is. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but the dash is the ECU. He just threw that out of nowhere. Calvin,
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
have depressing news if you haven't been on the whole time about the straight gates. He's the one that just got the straight gates from, I believe
Oh,
TurboSmart is sponsoring him. Devin said he had lots of trouble. You want to quickly summarize for him since he just got on about like the leaking and can't open or shut it or fails shut or
yeah. I mean, again, they may have like maybe they fixed that stuff. I hope they did, but um, the straight gates are rather they were prob well, if it's a pneumatic straight gate, it's not a failed shut problem, right? The
that
E
was the
gates failed
electronic.
shut.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So those failed shut. The straight gates, you'll find that you'll have quite the problem with controlling boost. Uh, the so like there's a local car here, a pretty healthy small block Chevrolet, single, well, I think 98 or something like that on alcohol, or single 94 or something. Um, and well, just hear me out here, Calvin. You'll yeah, need a four port. Oh no, just listen. Uh, yeah, yeah. Like I'm pretty sure it's like 5, maybe 7 pounds of CO2. Um, makes like 37 or 40 pounds. Like the tuning window is so tiny with it. So it's yeah, yeah. It's like it's very, very, very touchy. And then it's also not extremely repeatable because it's very RPM dependent. So so when you're at low RPM, um, cracking that thing open a little bit is fine. When you're at high RPM, it's substantially different. Uh, I'm not discouraging anybody from trying anything. I'm just telling you what my experience with them has been. And they leak, which is annoying. Uh, they leak. So I don't know. Good luck. Just I would plan on I would still keep regular gates like exhaust waste gates on it. Yeah, definitely do not do the e-gate stuff though. Like I'm not a, you know, I'm just not my guy. This is not my thing. So I got to hop off of here. I got to go to sleep because I got to bring Laura early in the morning.
Yeah, yeah, no
Uh,
problem.
so
It's already 3 hours.
yeah.
We
I didn't
gotta
even
have
realize
Troy
it.
on then. I was gonna say to Troy because I saw him in the chat. I was gonna be like, "Hey, join," but I'm like, we should just do, you know, a single Troy next time if
Oh
he wants
yeah,
to.
yeah. Some I'll just let me answer a couple of these like real quick, and then I got to get to I
Lightning
have to go.
round.
Yeah. Hang on, let me go back up here. Sorry, my eyes keep watering because of this stupid light that I have over the top of my computer.
Get some
Um,
sunglasses. That would look
that
funny.
won't look.
Dark room, sunglasses.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, okay, man, do you think the aftermarket will ever bring out Holly integration for GMT? No, that's for you. I have no idea what he's talking about.
There is people working on that, but the injection molding for the female connector for the PL1 and P59 doesn't exist. So someone would have to spend tens of thousands of dollars to have China do the injection molding without you making a compatible board and split harness. Anyway, that's the answer for that.
Yeah. Oh, Kenny asks Holly PDM though. You'll see. There we go. That's
I
all I
know
can
they
say.
have to do it. They have to be
Yeah.
doing it because other people are doing it. So they, even if it's
Yeah.
late, they have to get involved. I know that's coming
Yeah.
eventually.
Um, yeah. I can't really say much.
Well, yeah, not that
Burn
I
down is in
actually
here.
know. I'm just saying it has to happen.
Burn down's in here. I don't know
Uh
if
oh.
it, um, he's pretty cool.
Yep, Dane Thompson. Yep.
Yep. We did like I like fans. Like I like
And he
cooling
makes the
fans.
kits. Yep.
Yeah, and when he messaged me and I was like, dude, you gotta do something for the 19-inch ZL1. He just started making them. And
The larger fan. Yep. And I think he's, well, I'm not going to say it out loud. I don't know if I'm allowed to. He's
um
pursuing other options.
okay. Um let's see. Max ECU does look interesting. I got to play with it. I played with it for a couple days. It's it definitely does. It's very nice, software wise. But we've decided that we're probably going to go the Motec and Mtron route, um, as a second and third EFI system that we do in house. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Uh, okay, let's see here.
I
Toss on
have
turbo on something that's fuel injected but unconventional motorcycle. Yeah, turbocharge everything.
I have tuned turbo bikes and even one for an EFI class. A guy had a micro squirt on. It was a 3-cylinder Yamaha 600 and he had a KO3 on it and we tuned it. But that's what, so Mega Squirt I think is fantastic for non-standard things because you can enter all sorts of crazy stuff for cylinders and ignition.
Oh yeah.
So that's obviously if you have something unconventional, you probably will have to go with an unconventional ECU. I'll
Right.
add though, my friend Chris Ortiz built a B series turbo Honda and he put a Terminator on it. He just
Hmm.
he just had a, I don't know if he designed his own wheels or if he bought ones, but a cam and a crank Hall effect and coil packs, boom, done.
Yeah. Um, why is the PDM better than fuses? I've only tried one PDM Link ECU. Yeah, Link is very
Do not like Link at all. I've tuned a few cars on that. Do not.
yeah, not a fan. I had to do one for a drift car, or we have to do one for drift cars.
Yes, me too.
Uh,
Drift cars because you have to for the one specification. They're
yeah,
sponsored by Link. All the cars have to have Link. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of or
it's
seen.
very weird. Yeah. Um, Amtron's very powerful, but it is not for our user base. Um, but we're gonna find out. You know what I mean? Let's see. Troy, yeah. No, I know. I've been messing with Motec software for a while, and just we'll see where that
Troy has
goes.
a Hall Tech, or Troy did. I don't know if he swapped
He
it,
had
but I don't
Haltech and
think.
he swapped it over to Motec.
Oh, okay. That's what he was talking
Mhm.
about then. His personal
Yeah.
car.
Yep. Um,
He always says
I'm in the
he's going to
market.
stop by the dyno and just mess so he can learn some things.
Yeah. Somebody said I'm in the market for new sensors for on an LS on a Holly. Low dollar Scarlet Solutions or Rife. So I we use we use Rife and Scarlet Solutions here in our shop. Um, and then like SSI like from Holly. Uh, nothing against low dollar. I've had a bunch that it gave me problems, and we don't sell them here. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like there's nothing. I might have just had some bad stuff or whatever, but it just that was the deal. You know what I mean? So I'm not talking bad about them or anything. It's just I had a handful of sensors that I just were DOA, and again, like they were for customers, so the customer supplied them, and they were just DOA, and they were good. Like he did a killer job of like taking care of them for him, but we just don't carry them, and so we deal with Rife and Scarlet Solutions, and knock on whatever this table's made out of for Micah. Um, we haven't had any. We haven't had any. It hasn't really given us any shit. So that's what we deal with. So, um,
Are you done with
but
your lightning round? Keep you on track.
yeah, yeah. PFI literally split an engine in half at sick week. Yep, they sure did. Um,
They do
thank you
every
for.
time, I think. They run Fuel Tech and they have the most. Well, I think all of my friends, including you, say that there's crank synchronization problems out the wazoo with those cars. That ECU, I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, yes,
They lose crank sync and I think they fire whenever the hell they want, which is usually not the right place.
correct. Yeah. Uh, okay. Yeah, let's see here. Link guy up here. I told me to call them when I was ready to step up for my Dominator. Oh, good luck. Uh, yeah, lost crank signal. Yeah. Yeah, and I agree. I believe that the Link stuff is very cheap hardware. So, um, yeah, I gotta probably call it an evening. Normally, I'm good
No, yeah, no
for a
problem.
couple hours, but
It's already
I gotta call
three
it.
hours, I'm sure. Well, people haven't had one for a long time, so even 40 minutes would have
Yeah,
been a lot, honestly.
yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, you know me, I can normally just 6, 8 hours or whatever, but
Yeah, yeah.
I get up early, and since Laura's gotten this
No
stuff going on with her
kidding.
now,
Yeah.
it's been like I don't sleep much, and you know what I mean.
Yep, get
So
the hell out of here then.
yep. So it was great talking to you.
Yep.
I hope you have a great New Year, and I hope you hope everything goes great for you for your New Year and all that kind of stuff. And
Same, same.
tell Jamie, tell Jamie I said hello and Happy New Year.
Yep.
So all right, I'll talk to y'all later. See ya.
Yep. Bye. Yes, we always talk about having Shane on, but he won't lock anything in. What else? I'll go over some stuff quick. Is anyone watching want to know about turbo truck stuff, or I have videos up about it, including some dyno. I mean, probably everybody's leaving. Yeah, concurrent viewers is flying down now. But yeah, anyway, maybe I'll make another one. Maybe I'll do a live. What I do for the battery, I put it back in the same spot. So I have or had all the stuff from here on Speed, but where the one pipe was coming out of my turbo and it overlays with the filter and some other things, I didn't like all of it. So I was like, Tom, I want this to go as low as possible in and out of the turbo. So I had him change a bunch of the piping on the passenger side so that I would have my full battery tray, or from here on Speed, they have like a 5 to a 4-inch coupler, and then that goes into a 4-inch 90-ish, and then the filter goes into that battery tray. I'm also going to pick up the passenger side firewall battery tray mount and think about putting it there, and that's what I'm in the middle of. Otherwise, the battery is working fantastic where it's relocated. I'm still running the stock ECU for this. I would like to get it in the 850 range. If it doesn't want to cooperate with that, I won't put it. It made 620, and I think I found some problems. One of the problems is I'm having fuel delivery issues. I should probably get a way to put that into like the EGR or some sensor where I can data log the fuel pressure. I think my lift pump my in-tank pump died from the workout it got on the dyno because I came home, I parked it, I went out today to bring it in the garage and do dumb things, and it wouldn't start at all. So I was like, what did I do? And I checked the fuses, and the surge tank pumps work fine. If you key the car on, you can hear fuel running in and out of the surge tank. You can hear the pumps come on. I power probed them on. And then there's a test button I've found out after messing with this truck so much. Right next to the fuel pump relay and fuse on the other side, it says prime or something. You can put a power probe in there or some stripped wire and shove it in there to power, and it'll run the tank pump. And it doesn't work at all. I wanted to do it for fun, but it has 200,000 miles on it. The fuel pump is probably extremely tired. Also, the stock fuel lines are there, and I can't imagine someone would have swapped the fuel filter because it doesn't need to have that much flow. It also was dropping down to mid 11 voltage on the dyno pulls. There's belt dust all over my alternator. I have an outstanding accessory noise. You could probably hear in the dyno video if you watch it. It could be the alternator going bad. Definitely there's an alternator problem. Is it because the belt's slipping off of it? I don't know. Is it going bad and it's dragging the belt and causing the belt to throw dust there? I don't know. I got to get into all of that. Also, the stock tank pump seems dead. I bought a 450 as a preventative measure today so that I can put it in the stock tank if I can fully confirm that everything else is okay. Also, the pump wiring to those stock pumps is like human hair, and the relay is fairly small too. So I have a triple relay there, and I have 2 of the pumps hooked up to it. I may run new wiring if I put the 450 in the tank, which I'm probably going to do just because I don't want to mess with it. It was neat to see how far the in-tank would go, but it isn't really a fair test. It's neat that it went 600-ish, but it was running out of fuel. It would backfire. It would run out of fuel so abruptly up top that it was like fuel cut. So yeah, I wanted to see how far it would go. Probably can't do that. Gonna put a 450 in it, see if the China surge tank can keep up. If not, 3 450s. One in the tank that's already gonna be there, and 2 more in the surge tank because I'm using $40, like $20 a piece, 460s that came with the surge tank. And they float about 700 lph on like a test bench at 11.9 volts on a power supply. Why did it do that? Oh, it's like sorry, I thought it disconnected. That's just the free conference like idle screen. Anyway. Yeah. Does that truck have a fuel sensor? No, but I could add one. You know what I want to do once the Holly's on it? I think I want to put 2 fuel pressure sensors on it. One for the feed, and just see if there's much pressure on the feed at all, if any. It would be nice to data log the fuel pressure on the high side and the low side during a dyno pull to see if you get, so say if you have a steady 3 pounds on the low side, if that goes to 1 or 0, obviously that's an issue. You can tell it's a feed. 7 psi head pressure. I'm sorry, I gotta read this quick. Factory fuel pressure sensor. It doesn't have the sensor. Do you have a newer? NMBS has like a fuel pump control module, FPCM or whatever. So they have like a whole PWM controller for those. VW Rabbit pickup we just got rid of. We had like 22 cars around then. Yeah, the alternator. I already bought an alternator. The first thing I was going to do, so it's not like the 450 isn't going to get used. What I was going to swap without doing anything else, I bought a 220 amp alternator because I wanted to upgrade it anyway. Also the belt dust, also blah, blah, blah. The voltage was so poor that I wanted to do an alternator and see if it fixes everything. And then it'd be interesting to see how much farther it'll go, but I think at this point it needs the 450 in the tank. And then it'll be neat to see. My goal was to make 8 and change on the China fuel pumps that came with the surge tank because it would be hilarious. But if it doesn't reach that, I'm going to do what I normally do and put all 450s in. Where is LS1 Boost OS? Is that like the Android flashable one, or do you need like an ELM device? I've heard of those things, but I guess I could put it in this truck to test it. I'm realizing that's what you are suggesting. Boost OS. Maybe you could send me that or something else. Hi Matt, would Cameron's old S480 be too big for an LY6? It's tough to say. Like, that is a little bit laggier of a turbo, but a 6-liter lights it off fairly well. It depends on what kind of response you want. Do you have a horsepower goal? It's a street car. 800-ish is probably going to be really insane. A 7875 is, I hate to always throw that out there, but it's so good. Can you email it to me? I'll give you my email then. Is it an HP Tuners file, or do you need any gateway flasher? Can I use the HP Twizzlers, or I think I have like a random... Oh, what is this? I think Ortiz sent me this as a funny gift. A Tactrix OpenPort 2.0. Can I use this? Can I do this? Oh, jeez. Can I close this? No, Tuner Pro. Yeah. Do you have an auto or a stick shift? I know, I'm trying to pick, like, here, I'll do the, see, then it gets rid of my chat. Maybe I can turn on, I'm sorry. I'll add, I don't know, whatever. We'll just talk in the dark. V6 Boost OS guy? I don't know. There's so many of those, like, flashers and boost things, and where? I'm sorry, I'm trying to get video. I think I have to Anyway, sorry. Oh, Turbo V6, he's right there. Mine has 7. Can you get 1.5-inch ID? I don't know. Fuel hose? Probably. You could probably get some weird giant hydraulic stuff that you can't bend or put in a car. I know that would exist. S480. Yeah, again, is that auto? What's your thoughts on sticking a 494? I don't know enough about those, to be honest. 8892. I don't know enough about those turbos, to be honest with you. I feel like if you want to make good power, you have to spend $1 million on one of those pro mods, and you won't see a difference from going to, depending on your goals and everything. I don't know. It's always goal driven, right? Yeah, if it's a stick shift car, try the 78, because that's the bigger back end also. And again, like, 800 is a fairly common top end for that. Actually, if you have a 6L, or not a 6L, if you have a 6-speed, you're going to make more, because 6-speed cars are showers. Yeah, yeah, manual and auto, big difference. The autos will make it look easy, because it'll just flash into the boost zone immediately, whereas the stick shift guys are, you know, it's got a light off. You know, if Doug Palmer's on here, I've tuned it a bunch of times. He's swapped turbos and a few things. He had an F1 on it, and then he went to a turbo, and then I think he went 2 turbos bigger. And it's a F body, and it was auto and manual and auto and manual. I don't know what's in it now, but he's had a bunch of 80 millimeters and I think a 91 on it. All sorts of stuff on a stick shift car. I have the dyno pulls and everything else, but Story of your life. Shane Hines. Happened to 6L80. So the 6L80E Holly car is my Fairmont. I still have that. That runs drives. So that has also, for fun, I was playing with feed lines. It has a very small feed line, and then it goes into a blow-through regulator, and then it's a 3/8 hose into a flex sensor, and then into a stock LS3 fuel rail. So I'm choking it for no reason as like a returnless fun prank. And it made 8 and change, which is more than I thought it would make. Part of me now is just replace that fuel line until you heard it, because you're being an idiot for fun. Just like my truck, I'm doing stuff for fun to see if it's viable, because building a car and everything else isn't frustrating enough. I can't talk to you about the converter stuff. Call Circle D and talk to Pete Nichols to custom make you one. Oh, I want to send it to Circle D, but they recommend a big. Yeah, I don't know, dude. 3,500 and a 2,500. So I had like a 4,000. It depends on, yeah, street. So Circle D, even when I would buy that stuff in like 2010, they would always err on tighter, because I think people would complain that they were loose. Anyway, you have to tell them it's like race only, blah, 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 make it gigantic. 8088. Yeah, my LY6 in my Fairmont has an 8588. And with Tom's turbo kit and everything, it lights off surprisingly well. Yeah, it's incredible. I wish I had dyno access. I know it's hard. I had to think about it the other day. Yesterday, I took my truck to the dyno. I just drove it down, put it on. I had a little bit of an issue. I was like, I'm just going to go home. I'm not working on this thing here. Pushing it and making the day till 11 p.m. Not what I'm about anymore. I was like, I'll just go home and figure it out. I'm happy with how I did. I know I can come back here anytime. Totally spoiled. And today, I go out and do a little bit of driving with it, and the fuel pump was dead. So if I had stayed there, I might have killed the pump on the dyno, have to have somebody get me at 11, have to get the car and work on it at the dyno. I've done it too often with customers and myself to know exactly. Egg the motor. It was cutting out because of the fuel running out. All of that stuff. I was like, this is totally not worth it. I'll keep the chat open actually, because it seems like nothing's happening with the other screen. Oh, gotta try PTE. I've heard of that Pulsar company. I didn't know they just a Chinese company that copies Precision, just as a blanket statement, not making fun of anybody. Anywho, little bit of a fuel delivery thing on the truck. I'll figure out which fuel side it could be. I'm not making excuses for any of that stuff. Have you tuned a car with Haltech Rebel? No. I have tuned Haltech stuff. Most of it is, I'm terrible with names. Chris. His name's Chris. And he built a Monte Carlo for a friend that had a blower, a TorqStorm and everything, actually. That was on Holly. I'm sorry. What did he build? He built a G-body or something like that, and that had a Haltech, and then it had another Haltech I/O box to run the 4L80E. I tuned it on that. It wasn't bad. I don't like the interface and some other things again. The connecting to the older one was like the most miserable thing in the world. I talked to a few people about it, and I'm like, does it normally take 4 minutes to connect the tune? And they're like, yeah, it does. And I was like, man, I'm about to quit doing this because it takes so long to connect. Anyway, I have not done a Rebel specifically. I've done probably half a dozen Haltech cars or more. Yeah. Anyway, I hope that answers. Oh, they copied the 83, 85, 76, 85. Yeah, big turbine. I like the Haltech dash. What they should do is just make it able to sniff Holly just for fun. just as a dig. All the other dashes sniff holly. It's not illegal to have it sniff the holly can. Pete at Circle D is amazing. Okay, I think that's it, guys. We're far in now. We're 3:15, and I lost my guest. So we'll line up another one. I'm gonna try to do them more often this year. It can? Can. I didn't know that then. That's fantastic. Is their dash really expensive? I assume it's like Holly price, like $1,000 for 700 to 1,000 for the 7-inch and the 686. Yeah, I know people are all wound up about it, but what I don't like is all the people in Sloppy. They're like, hey, who tunes and uses this? And I'm having a problem, and who can help? And nobody answers the guy. So I don't like that. I'd love to have one show up for me to tune. I would never say no. In fact, I would be, if any of you guys are tri-state or something that want to come out here on a day that it's not 18, which is hard. Tag me next time. Oh, yeah, on the post where someone's having an issue. All right. Well, I'll see you guys later. I'm going to shut her off. Goodbye.